Chapter 41 Tang San's Making Things Difficult. Zhenwu 7 Intercept Formation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ning Rongrong, I'll take Dragon Captor, huh? You don't want the immortal seal? Tang Lan asked, surprised. I'm not a combat soul master, so why would I pick that? Ning Rongrong was perfectly clear about her strengths. Dragon Captor might seem like support, but it can remotely control people, rescue them, even snatch weapons. It could be a real game changer. That's some impressive insight, coming from the Qibao glazed sex little princess. Good choice, Tang Lan said, approvingly. The immortal seal is powerful, but it's also tough to master. You might not even get the hang of it. He smoothly conjured a ball of spiritual light and tapped Ning Rongrong on the head with it. He didn't even bother with his niece who was still trying to process what was happening. He turned and headed for the cafeteria. As he expected, Xiaowu had already gotten the food and waved to him with a smile. She seemed to have completely forgotten about their awkward moment earlier. Then again, they'd been sleeping next to each other for 6 years. They'd been through way more awkward stuff then. That, she adapted fast. After the meal, Tang Lan went to the training grounds. Zhu Zhuqing was already working on her Lingbo Weibu. She was sticking to the ground, soaring over the eaves, and swaying gracefully, her awesome figure contorted in all kinds of gravity-defying ways. Tang Lan's mouth suddenly felt a little dry. Damn, she's incredible. Star, what guy wouldn't be into that? Soon, Ning Rongrong and the others started to show up. Zhu Zhuqing stopped at just the right time, getting ready for the next round of training. She stood next to Tang Lan. Sect Master, Zhu Zhuqing greeted him, unprompted. For someone with such a cool personality, that was quite a gesture. Tang Lan pulled out a storage ring and handed it to her, along with a robe. Don't dress so skimpy when you're training. You'll sweat, and if the wind picks up, you'll catch a cold. I don't want other guys getting a free show like this. Star, Zhu Zhuqing looked a little confused but put on the robe anyway. She didn't get it, but she followed orders. Combined with her icy demeanor, it was a knockout. Tang Lan's heart skipped a beat. Who could resist that kind of contrast? Xiaowu saw this and pouted a little, but she didn't throw another fit. It had already been shown that he wasn't going to be coaxed. Why didn't I ever notice I was so chill? Star, she looked at Zhu Zhuqing again. Beneath that cold, beautiful face were curves that even the robe couldn't hide. Then it hit her. Back at Notting Junior College, there wasn't a woman who could make my heart race. Star. Zhao Wuji and the other two were also there. Flanders' eyes swept over the group and frowned. He was about to say something, but Ma Hongjun rushed over, his fat body jiggling. Flanders' eyebrows twitched. Was this guy always the last one? Ma Hongjun. Add another 200 pounds. Ma Hongjun's face turned green. No way, Dean. I just ate a few extra bites. I wasn't late. They got here too early. Flanders glared at him, frustrated with the kid's lack of ambition. Was he blaming the others for trying hard? Ma Hongjun shrank back, not daring to say another word. Tang Lan shook his head. Ma Hongjun's personality was too lazy and unable to endure hardships. In the future, he would still be arrogant and overconfident. Only then would he miss out on the status of a first-level god and become just a second-level god, the Phoenix god. Only first-level gods and above are qualified to take people to the divine realm. After being separated from Xiangxiang Tianren forever, I asked to go to Tang Shenhuang. But he was rejected again because of insufficient authority. In the end, I could only watch Xiangxiang die of old age. Who is to blame? But, after all, Ma Hongjun has the appearance of becoming a god and can be won over. Just don't take it too seriously. This is also his other goal in coming to Shrek, to build a team for the god realm. Tang Shenhuang will be at the top in the future, and he's not doing well either. Thinking, Tang Lan's body was heavily weighted by Zhao Wuji's gravity soul skill. 2 days passed. Everyone figured out their training plans and was busy with them. Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Rongrong were practicing footwork, gracefully moving and taking small steps. Xiaowu hesitated for a second, said hi to Tang Lan, and joined the two girls. Tang San was swinging his hammer, working on his forging. Oscar, Daimubai, and Ma Hongjun's training was pretty basic, running laps around Zhao Wuji. Compared to the other four, their training was definitely less effective, so they kept glancing at Tang Lan. they probably had an idea. Tang Lan pretended not to notice, he wasn't a babysitter. If they wanted to learn his techniques, they had to ask. If they wanted to get stronger, they needed to show some initiative. He pulled out his forging table and started hammering. He even felt like the pressure wasn't enough, so he had Zhao Wuji increase his soul power output. Zhao Wuji's soul skill couldn't adjust the gravity in specific areas, which meant everyone else had to deal with the added weight. Ma Hongjun was about to complain, but then... Ahem! Flanders coughed loudly and glared at Ma Hongjun and Oscar behind his glasses. What were they waiting for? The message was received. Oscar and Ma Hongjun exchanged glances and gave apologetic looks to Dai Mubai. Sorry, boss Dai. They walked toward Tang Lan side by side, drawing everyone's attention, but after a quick glance, they looked away. Tang Lan's self-made soul skills were that awesome. They were late to the party. Hey, Brother Lan, Ma Hongjun said, grinning. Is Tang sect going to take me in Xiao Ao? Brother Lan, give us a shot, Oscar added. Tang Lan stopped his hammering and looked at them. Ma Hongjun was smiling, but his attitude was too casual. He looked like he was totally sure he'd get in. Oscar was a little more hesitant, but his eyes were sincere and determined. You can join, Tang Lan said. But 4 first-generation disciples is enough. I'm too lazy to take on more. You can ask them to take you on as disciples. They waited this long to ask, now they were going to be second-generation disciples. Ma Hongjun, who thought it was just a formality, stopped smiling. What did that mean? These two are supposed to be his seniors. Tang Lan was awesome enough that he didn't mind calling him Brother Lan, but become Xiao Wu's apprentice. That's embarrassing. Oscar was quiet for a few seconds and then solemnly bowed to Tang Lan. I'll go ask now. He pulled Ma Hongjun away. His eyes scanned Tang San, Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ning Rongrong. He immediately ruled out Ning Rongrong, who needs that kind of drama. He didn't want to be a simp. Zhu Zhuqing was also a headache. Best to stay away from her. That left, Tang San, Tang Lan's little brother, was an option. Everyone could see that Xiao Wu was Tang Lan's good sister, so she was a solid choice. As he was deciding who to ask, Ma Hongjun suddenly said unhappily, what's wrong with being our apprentices? Ugh! Oscar clamped his hand over Ma Hongjun's mouth, shooting him a warning look. Was that fat idiot trying to pick a fight? Didn't he realize that even Flanders and Zhao Wuji were considering joining the Tang sect? Did he really want to blow it? Oscar. Flanders snapped. Let him go. Let him deal with the consequences. Oscar opened his mouth, wanting to stick up for Ma Hongjun, but when he met Flanders' stern gaze, he shut his mouth and put his hand down. He shot a good luck look at Ma Hongjun and walked toward Tang San without looking back. Flanders was seriously pissed this time. Even if Ma Hongjun was talented. If he didn't put in the work, no one could help him. Ma Hongjun shrank back, feeling a little scared, rolling his eyes. He also walked toward Tang San. Oscar, who got there first, didn't mention anything about becoming an apprentice. Instead, he started doing work for Tang San, taking out the hammered iron ingot and putting in a new one. As soon as Ma Hongjun arrived, he said casually, Hey mistress, will you accept me? Tang San stopped hammering and stared at Ma Hongjun, frowning. Compared to Tang Lan, Tang San, with his old-school mentality that the law can't be taught lightly, had strict standards for his disciples. Talent didn't matter as much as character. In the original series, the Jixiang he took on had 0 soul power at birth, but he had saved his life and countless others through his medical skills. Ma Hongjun and Oscar. One was lazy, the other didn't quite get it yet. He didn't want to take them on. But they were his classmates, so he didn't want to be too harsh. He took out 2 hammers from his storage ring and dropped them on the ground. *clunk star. *clunk star. Judging by the sound, they were heavy. If you can stay under Teacher Zhao's gravity and swing this hammer 10,000 times in 7 days without using soul power, I'll take you as a disciple. Ma Hongjun and Oscar were stunned. 10,000 swings in 7 days. That's 1,428 a day. And they couldn't use soul power? That's impossible. Ma Hongjun protested. If you don't want to take me, just say so. Why make it so hard? that he immediately turned and started to walk away, but he realized Oscar wasn't moving. Xiao Ao. I want to try, Oscar said, pushing Ma Hongjuan's hand away. Even if it's impossible, I can still get some exercise. Ma Hongjun stared at him, shocked. They'd been bros for years, and Oscar was stabbing him in the back. Fine, fine. If you want to suffer, go ahead, he stormed off. He wanted to run laps with Dai Mubai, but Dai Mubai was walking toward Tang Lan. Boss Dai. Ma Hongjun cried out in disbelief. Even you? Dai Mubai ignored him. He'd avoided responsibility before because he didn't see any hope, but now, he saw a chance. What guy would admit defeat? He wanted to try again. Tang Lan, Dai Mubai said quietly, if I want to join Tang's sect, what do I need to do? He couldn't bring himself to call him Brother Lan, but for a guy as proud as him, that was a pretty big gesture. At the same time, he was basically saying he was willing to give up leadership of Shrek's team to Tang Lan. The host gains Shrek's dominance and steals a moderate amount of Tang San's luck. Reward, Zhenwu 7 Intercepts Formation. Whoa! An unexpected bonus? Tang Lan was pleasantly surprised when he read the description. The Zhenwu 7 Intercepts Formation was created by Zhang Sanfeng, who was a cultivator in the world of martial arts. It consists of 7 different sets of techniques that can be used alone or together. It requires at least 2 people. The power of 2 people is doubled. 3 people quadruple it. 4 people multiply it by 8. 5 people multiply it by 16. 6 people multiply it by 32. If 7 people complete the Zhenwu 7 Interception Formation, their power increases by 64 times. Damn! If he could train 7 Soul Douluo, they could take down title Douluo, right? Just like a martial arts cultivator, he is so fierce. Tang Lan was in a good mood and felt a lot warmer toward Dai Mubai. Mubai, I'm happy to have you. But your status is kind of special. Tang sect is based in the Tiando Empire, after all. How about you join as an outer disciple? Dai Mubai smiled bitterly. He thought he could change his fate by giving up his identity, but thought it was better than nothing. Thank you, sect master. Dai Mubai bowed, clasping his fists. Tang Lan smoothly pulled out a spiritual light ball and passed it to Dai Mubai. It contained the first 3 levels of the Zheoyang Divine Art and one of the 7 Zhenwu formation techniques. The Zheoyang Divine Art would elevate Dai Mubai's soul power, turning it into the strongest, most yang internal energy and increasing his power in every way. The Zhenwu formation would come in handy when he got to the God realm. When Dai Mubai absorbed the spiritual light ball, he understood what he'd gotten. The disappointment he felt before was gone. He was perfect for the 9 Yang Divine Art. Ning Rongrong had even asked to learn it, but Tang Lan had refused. The Zhenwu 7 Interception Formation was even more outrageous. It could amplify the power of 7 people by 64 times. Was this how outer disciples were treated? Did Tang Lan offer him this position because of the rivalry between the 2 empires? Dai Mubai bowed deeply and said seriously. Once you enter the Tang sect, you're a disciple for life. Whatever happens to me in the future, I'll go through fire and water if you need me. That he was saying that even if he became emperor again, he wouldn't forget his roots. Tang Lan didn't care. Dai Mubai had a chance to become a god. Why would he care about the Star Luo Empire? He'd go to the god realm with him and become a powerful sidekick. He waved Dai Mubai off, and he went off to train on his own. Tang Lan continued to swing his hammer. He ignored the resentful gaze Ma Hongjun was giving him. Watching Tang Lan favor some students, Flanders had no choice. Ma Hongjun had already offended Tang Lan. Even if he mediated, he'd left a terrible first impression. He was lazy and unwilling to work hard, and he gave up at the first obstacle. Whenever Ma Hongjun messed up, Flanders could suck it up and beg for mercy, but not now. Sigh. Compared to Flanders' furrowed brow, Zhao Waoqi didn't have many thoughts, seeing that 6 out of 8 students had joined the Tang sect. He couldn't hold back any longer and walked toward Tang Lan. Ahem. I also want to join Tang sect. What's the process? Zhao Wuji asked, straight to the point. He wasn't afraid of being turned down. At 50 years old, he knew people better. Tang Lan's ambition was obvious. His feudo Mao still had some room to grow, so reaching the contra level shouldn't be too hard, and he didn't have any bad habits like Ma Hongjun. There was no way he'd be rejected, it was just a matter of status. Teacher Zhao wants to join too? Tang Lan asked, pretending to be confused. What about the dean? Hey! I'm just Shrek's teacher, I'm not married to him, that old coot, Zhao Wuji said casually. Tang Lan stopped pretending. With teacher Zhao's strength, being a disciple is obviously not right. How about we start a martial arts hall for combat? You can be the hall master. What do you think? Zhao Wuji nodded in satisfaction. The Tang sect was still small, but as a soul saint, he was at least an elder, plus, Tang Lan's father was Haotian Douluo. So being a hall master was great. Sect master, you can call me Zhao Wuji, Lao Zhao, or just Wuji, Zhao Wuji said. He'd been right, this rough guy was pretty smart. Tang Lan had only planned to give him the immortal seal, but now, he'd give him the first level of Zhuyang divine art, as well. Chapter 42 Zhu Zhuqing breaks off the engagement. 30 years in Hedong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tang Lan casually tossed out a condensed ball of spiritual light. Zhao Wuji snatched it up, eager to study it. He resigned and bolted, ready to immerse himself in research. Without his gravity soul skill to rely on, he'd just vanish. Flanders watched him go with mixed feelings. He also had his eye on the Lingbo Weibo technique, but unlike Zhao Wuji, he had Shrek Academy to think about. If he, the dean, joined the Tang sect, who'd be calling the shots at Shrek? What would become of his disciple, Ma Hongjun? He reluctantly let the opportunity pass. Luckily, the other three teachers at Shrek were focused on teaching and weren't interested in joining the Tang sect. Whoosh! 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 That was Oscar, swinging a hammer. The 100-pound smithing hammer tripled in weight under the influence of gravity. As an auxiliary soul master, Oscar's hand trembled with each swing, but he gritted his teeth and kept going, showing incredible willpower. Too bad, every 10 swings or so, his hands would give out, and he couldn't hold the hammer anymore. Willpower couldn't make up for a lack of physical strength. But Oscar was an auxiliary soul master. I've got a big sausage. He scarfed down 3 recovery sausages in a row, replenishing some of his strength. Oscar went back to hammering, blood soaking the hammer handle, but he never faltered. Flanders beamed with pride. Oscar rarely gave him cause for concern when it came to training. Then he looked at Ma Hongjun, consumed by resentment. He needed to buckle down and train. That day, Oscar swung the hammer 1,430 times, exceeding his goal. The cost was raw, blistered hands, total exhaustion, and depleted soul power. Xiao Xin could barely hold his spoon at dinner. Concerned, Xiao Xin fed him a few jelly beans and carried him back to the dorm. Xiao Wu couldn't stand to watch. Tang San, Oscar's giving it his all. Can't you cut him a break and not make him do this for the whole 7 days? Tang San was surprised too. He could barely manage 3,000 swings a day himself, and that was with the help of his cloak technique. Oscar could do it, but he still didn't want a disciple. Let's see how it goes, Tang San replied, non-committal. Xiao Wu pouted and turned to Tang Lan for help, hoping he would talk to his brother. Tang Lan thought it was a brilliant idea. Tang San had taken auspicious to repay him for saving his life. He could teach them whatever he wanted and let them be on their way, but not Oscar. They'd be running into each other around the academy all the time. How could he not show off some real skills? But teaching carefully would inevitably delay his own training. Perfect. He held up his hand, signaling Xiao Wu to relax, then he said loudly, my word is my bond. We agreed on 7 days, so it has to be 7 days, no less. It's up to Oscar to prove he can make it. Tang San breathed a sigh of relief that Tang Lan wasn't going to plead on Oscar's behalf. He nodded in agreement, but something felt off. Brother! Why aren't you helping me? Xiao Wu complained. Tang Lan just smiled mysteriously and said nothing. Tang San, worried that Xiao Wu would convince Tang Lan, ate a few quick bites, got up, and left. Gotta go get that scope, he mumbled, disappearing with his eerie footwork before Tang Lan could reply. Tang Lan said slowly, outside of Lingbo Weibo, there's nothing in the Tang sect that's a perfect fit for Oscar. Firearm soul guides are powerful, but they're expensive. Even the cheapest bullets are made of high-quality steel. An Uzi can fire 100 rounds in 2 seconds. Ning Rongrong has the money for it, but does Oscar? Xiaowu blinked. That made sense, the others nodded in agreement, only Ning Rongrong seemed a bit miffed. Sect leader, don't go around saying I'm a rich airhead. Tang Lan shrugged, he didn't know if she was an airhead or not, but she definitely had money to burn. He continued, Little San has a decent talent for hidden weapons. My firearm soul guides were inspired by his hidden weapon techniques. Hidden weapons are about quality over quantity. They're designed for one-hit kills and taking enemies by surprise. That's a better fit for Oscar. And the mistress has several self-created soul skills. If Oscar can learn those, he'll have no fear fighting soul masters of the same level. He thought Tang San still had that talent. Wait a minute. He had been here for several days, but why hadn't he seen Tang San use it? Thinking back to Tang San when he was forging iron, it wouldn't be like Tang Lan, who would directly create a prototype. I take my own things very seriously, although it's understandable, I can't stand the comparison. Look at Tang Lan, the self-created soul skills were used to establish the Tang sect, and the soul guides were also used to strengthen the Tiando Empire. What a selfless dedication. Look at Tang San again, everything is hidden. If Tang Lan hadn't mentioned it today, I wouldn't have known that he had this skill, so, I understand Tang San's approach, but despise his pattern. The host lowers Tang San's reputation in Shrek and robs Tang San of a small amount of his luck. Reward, external soul bone, double eyes plus 120 years. Wow! What a great reward! Off to the side, Ma Hongjun watched the others getting along so well, silent. He didn't get it, why was he being left out? He especially couldn't understand why Tang Lan was willing to accept Boss Dai and was so considerate of Xiao Ao, yet he wouldn't accept Ma Hongjun. He must still be holding a grudge against me for offending him. I didn't mean it at the time, and I even apologized. Ma Hongjun felt wronged, but no one noticed him. Zhu Zhuqing finished her meal, stood up, washed her plate, and headed toward the training grounds. She needed to train harder. Dai Mubai followed her silently. Xiao Wu tugged at Tang Lan's sleeve and looked at him expectantly, wondering if he was going to do anything about it. Tang Lan just shrugged. Zhu Zhuqing was drawn to strong people. Tang Lan had even received an attached soul bone. There was something wrong with the way Tang Lan looked at him these days. You can tell something is wrong from her cold eyes, which shows how strong the emotion is. If Dai Mubai approached her now, he'd just get rejected, but Xiao Wu didn't get it. Seeing that Tang Lan wasn't going to do anything, she stomped her foot. Then, she caught up with Zhu Zhuqing, took her hand, and went to the training grounds with her. Tang Lan was confused. If Dai Mubai could win Zhu Zhuqing back, wouldn't Xiao Wu be all for it? Why was she helping Tang Lan ward off a love rival? I really envy you, Ning Rongrong said wistfully. Your little girlfriend is jealous, but she still helps you chase girls. How great is that? Huh? Help me chase? Tang Lan asked, puzzled. How did you figure that out? Ning Rongrong smiled knowingly. Sect leader, you really don't know what's going on, do you? She teased. Tang Lan narrowed his eyes. Had he been betrayed? Sensing danger, Ning Rongrong quickly explained. Your talent is so overwhelming that Xiao Wu can't keep up with it alone. So she must have realized that she needs to team up with Zhu Qing to keep other women away. That's what it probably means. Tang Lan blinked. Huh? Could it be interpreted that way? How can you be so sure? Tang Lan asked, still skeptical. Ning Rongrong looked a little offended. Like you said, I didn't have any friends growing up. All I did was play pranks and read books. What kind of books do kids like to read? Romances and love stories, right? So even though I've never been in love, I'm still experienced. Was that even possible? Tang Lan gave Ning Rongrong a thumbs up. But Ning Rongrong smiled and held out her hand. So, Uncle Tang, should I get a little something for sharing my wisdom? Tang Lan. Was she waiting for him to say that? Ning Fengji really doted on her daughter. Everyone left immediately, and Ning Rongrong was still notified. Tang Lan also put on airs. If niece Ning wants a gift, why don't you give me a kiss first? Ning Rongrong immediately retracted her hand. Humph. The immortal seal doesn't suit me anyway. I don't need any gift. That she turned and left. Tang Lan chuckled. Once he revealed the Zhenwu Seven Intercept Formation, Ning Rongrong would be begging to come back, and when she did, he'd have to handle her carefully. As a joint formation, Zhenwu Seven Intercept Formation tests the tacit understanding, but does not require high proficiency, in terms of inner strength cultivation. The Zhenwu Seven Section Formation may be slightly faster than Lingbo Weibu, but it cannot take into account internal strength, external strength, and body skills at the same time. Therefore, Ning Rongrong, a crispy assistant, usually majors in Lingbo Weibu. Zhenwu Qijiezhen is learned early and late, and there is not much difference. That night, Xiaowu used her third soul skill, teleport, to flash into Tang Lan's dorm, and start dual cultivation. Brother's bed is more comfortable, Xiaowu said, rubbing against it. Tang Lan's mind reeled, leaving Xiao Wudan's eyes blurred, digesting the information of Zhenwu Seven Intercepts Formation. Tang Lan was also convinced. Ever since Zhu Zhuqing showed up, Xiaowu had been getting bolder and bolder. In the past, they just hold hands during dual cultivation. Now, she was all over him. She provoked Tang Lan, then flashed away, mouth bulging. It was so irritating. No. She needed to be punished. It is said to come out of the east. Xiaowu ran away from Tang Lan's dorm, her mouth bulging as if it was swollen. Tang Lan stood at the door, stretching luxuriously. Humming. Today is a good day. He walked to the cafeteria. Even though he didn't need to eat, Xiao Xian's cooking was so good that eating was a pleasure. Squeak. The door to a nearby dorm opened, and Tang San rushed out with a chicken coop on his head. Brother. I've got it. A 10x scope. Oh. Tang Lan took the scope, held it to his eye, and looked around. Whoa, what the heck? Big, white, and jiggling. He lowered the scope. Zhu Zhuqing pulled her robe out of her storage ring and put it on. Wow. What Tang Lan had just done was practically a slap in the face. Ahem. Tang Lan put the scope into the Blue King and tossed a ball of spiritual light to Tang San. It is one of the techniques of Zhenwu Seven Intercept Formation. Tang Lan and Zhu Zhuqing walked to the cafeteria side by side while Tang San figured things out. Xiaowu told them everything about last night. Dai Mubai had confessed to Zhu Zhuqing, but she'd rejected him outright. She had even broken off their engagement. Fortunately, Dai Mubai had taken the blame for everything first, so there hadn't been any melodramatic turnabout. Is fair play nonsense, but in the original story, hadn't Zhu Zhuqing come to Shrek for Dai Mubai? Who could she be rejecting him for so decisively? The beefcake Oscar? Isolated fat man Ma Hongjun? Or was it Tang San, overshadowed by Tang Lan's brilliance? That only left Tang Lan, with his martial soul fusion skill, his high compatibility, and his incredible talent. Now that Zhu Zhuqing had made her choice clear, Xiaowu was accepting reality too, so why was Tang Lan still hesitating? Launch an offensive. Are you a little late today? Did you overdo it with training last night? Tang Lan asked with concern. Yeah, Zhu Zhuqing replied curtly. My muscles are sore, my reaction time slow, and I woke up late. Oh. My internal power can heal injuries. Want to give it a try? Tang Lan offered. Don't want it to affect your training today. Whether it was because of the training or something else, Zhu Zhuqing nodded decisively. How do you do it? Easy. You stand still. I'll do the work. Tang Lan took Zhu Zhuqing's hand, warm, soft, and tender. It felt amazing. He channeled the inner power of the nine-yang divine skill, the hot energy flowing through Zhu Zhuqing's meridians, clearing away hidden injuries from training. It felt like soaking in a hot spring. Very comfortable. Whoosh. Zhu Zhuqing activated her netherworld cat soul and vanished, barely making a ripple as she moved. Tang Lan was left speechless. He thought he must have misheard her, but Zhu Zhuqing's reaction. Wasn't that seduction? Who knew Zhu Zhuqing, looked cold on the outside, can also speak. Cold on the outside and hot on the inside. Excellent. The heroines are tentatively named Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing. Do you guys have any other favorite concubines? Chapter 43 Ning Rongrong wants to kill someone. Trick Tang San into recruiting a disciple. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Thanks to Gasistella for pointing out that apes don't have tails. The external soul bone titan giant ape tail bone has been changed to ice jade scorpion tail. Soul bone skill, ice freezing poison needle. The condensed ultimate ice of the ice jade scorpion tail clashes with the ultimate fire of the 9 yang divine skill. The resulting explosion unleashes a powerful thrust, shooting the ice jade scorpion tail forward, shattering all defenses with pinpoint accuracy. Upon piercing the enemy, it injects a lethal dose of ultimate ice and ultimate fire, detonating it within their body, one-hit kill. Above, when Tang Lan arrived at the cafeteria, it was bustling. He could hear Ning Rongrong yelling from afar. Get off me. I'm gonna kill that guy. How dare you hit me? Who does Dai Mubai think he is? Bang bang bang. First soul skill, White Tiger Protective Barrier, .o. Why were Ning Rongrong and Dai Mubai still at it? Tang Lan picked up his pace and walked into the cafeteria. He saw Xiaowu holding python revolvers in both hands, firing at Dai Mubai. The white light mask around Dai Mubai rippled as he charged toward Ning Rongrong, eyes blazing. Ning Rongrong pulled out an Uzi, ready to suppress him with a hail of bullets. Swish! Xiaowu teleported to Ning Rongrong's side and held down her gun. Then, she jumped up and kicked Dai Mubai back. Are you two done yet? Xiaowu scolded, ready to kill each other over a few words. Dai Mubai and Ning Rongrong glared at each other, still fuming. Nearby, Zhu Zhuqing carried her dinner plate to the sink. She didn't seem interested in the squabble, but when she saw Tang Lan, she quickly looked away. Hey! Tang Lan called out, feisty this morning, little princess. Did you have gunpowder for breakfast? Ning Rongrong's eyes welled up when she saw Tang Lan. Uncle Tang, you gotta help me out. All I said was he deserved to have his engagement broken off after running away, and he used his martial spirit to hit me. If Sister Xiaowu hadn't stopped me, I'd be dead. Uncle Tang. Zhu Zhuqing, who was about to leave, and Dai Mubai, who was still angry, both stared at Tang Lan. Huh? Xiaowu asked, puzzled, brother, when did you become Rongrong's uncle? Tang Lan shrugged. Ning Fengji suggested a sworn brotherhood, and I agreed. But he also said that he and I have different opinions. Ning Rongrong, please don't make things weird. That shut Ning Rongrong up fast. She thought she had backup, but now she looked like a fool. Tang Lan was being way too honest. What was she supposed to do now? Sect leader. Dai Mubai stepped forward and said coldly. I apologized to Zhu Zhuqing last night. I wanted to call off the engagement, since it was my fault in the first place. Zhu Zhuqing actually suggested breaking it off first, so I agreed. But Ning Rongrong overheard something and came to mock me about it this morning. Dai Mubai's face tightened. It was clear the breakup still stung. It was his own doing, but with Tang Lan and Zhu Zhuqing hooking up, he had no choice but to accept it. But Ning Rongrong had to run her mouth, rubbing salt in the wound. No guy would take that, and that was that. Just then, Tang San walked into the cafeteria, supporting Oscar. Seeing the tense atmosphere, he stopped at the entrance. Ning Rongrong's eyes lit up when she saw Tang San. She remembered his awesome power-shattering Chen Xian's body-protecting soul power. If he stepped in, he could definitely beat Dai Mubai, right? She was about to speak when she saw the playful look on Tang Lan's face and remembered the night he'd nearly killed her. This guy was ruthless. Her brain clicked. Tang San, Dai Mubai, and even she were all disciples of the Tang sect. Was she really gonna ask one disciple to beat up another right in front of the sect leader? That was basically suicide. Thinking clearly, she realized something else. Maybe, probably, perhaps, she'd pushed Dai Mubai too far by hitting him where it hurt. What do you do when you realize you're wrong in the middle of a fight? Ning Rongrong decided to turn around and pretend nothing happened. Never mind. Ning Rongrong. Tang Lan called out, you can't just walk away after starting something. Ning Rongrong froze. She knew she was in the wrong, but she still didn't back down. I only said a few words. He's a big boy. Is it worth getting so worked up? Seriously? Dai Mubai was fuming. Tang Lan was amused. A few words are nothing, huh? Then what were you doing sneaking into my dorm in the middle of the night a couple of nights ago? Whoosh. Whoosh. Zhu Zhuqing and Xiao Wu both zeroed in on Ning Rongrong. Xiao Wu even dropped her hand and frowned. Were there more girls trying to steal her brother? Ning Rongrong panicked. No. It's not what you think. I was just. Ning Rongrong trailed off. How was she supposed to explain stealing bullets and being forced to play Russian roulette? She couldn't reveal that embarrassing moment. She finally understood how Dai Mubai felt. It was so frustrating. Why aren't you talking? Tang Lan repeated, I only said a few words. You're not mad, right? Right? That sinister tone made Dai Mubai smile. The sect leader had a way with this little witch, but, he glanced at Tang Lan, he already had Xiao Wu, was flirting with Zhu Zhuqing, and now Ning Rongrong was sneaking around at night. This sect leader was a player. Feeling humiliated, Ning Rongrong reluctantly apologized to Dai Mubai. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said those things. I shouldn't have poked your wound. Dai Mubai just grunted and started to walk away, but then he remembered Tang Lan. He said coldly, let's drop it. He strode out of the cafeteria. Zhu Zhuqing, who was about to leave, kept washing dishes, glancing at Tang Lan. Brother. Xiao Wu pouted. What night? I didn't know about that. Tang Lan looked at Ning Rongrong, who got up and ran away. If he told Xiao Wu everything from that night, Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing relaxed. Thank goodness it wasn't what they'd imagined, but Tang San focused on something else. Brother, those first batch of bullets didn't have anti-theft measures. It's a risk. Oops. Tang Lan had overlooked that. Luckily, there were still old bullets, including the ones for Zhu Zhuqing, Tang San, Xiao Wu, and himself. They were all his people, anyway. Then, ladies, turn them in and get new bullets, Tang Lan said. Okay, bro. That was that. Zhu Zhuqing also finished washing the dishes and slipped away. Tang Lan was enjoying his meal when he saw Oscar. Ma Hongjun was lazy, greedy, and didn't like to train. Oscar was the opposite. He was determined and goal-oriented. Last night he was beat, but he was up and walking now, though. He was still pretty beat. On the playground, it was just as Tang Lan predicted. Oscar was in rough shape. He was swinging the hammer, but the bloodstains on the handle showed it was hard, but he didn't seem to notice. He just gritted his teeth and kept going. When he was about to drop, he'd eat a sausage and keep swinging. What goes around comes around. Everyone thought it would be great if Oscar and Ma Hongjun switched spirits. A food type who was lazy and an attack type who worked hard, it would be perfect. Flanders kept yelling. Ma Hongjun. Add another 150 pounds. Too lazy to run laps, huh? Then give me push-ups. What kind of weird posture is that? Trying to hump the floor. Straighten your back. Flanders stood in front of Ma Hongjun. The others were good and only got a look from time to time. Ma Hongjun was miserable. If he'd known it would be this hard, he would have swung the hammer with Oscar. Tang Lan had been watching Oscar. What a beast. Because he and Ning Rongrong were support-type soul masters, he wasn't recognized by Ning Fengji. After 5 years of wandering the mainland, he created the mirror sausage that could copy 80% of another person's combat power, turning him into an attack type. He would eventually become the first food type title Douluo, of the Shrek 7 devils. Only Oscar was worthy of respect, so, Tang Lan decided to help. If Oscar failed, who would drag down Tang San? He dismissed his Lei Yen Haotian hammer and went over to Oscar. Oscar was swinging the hammer, barely noticing the living person in front of him. He was pushing himself by willpower alone. His body was almost spent, and he wouldn't last another 2 days. Tang Lan sent out a life soul blue silver emperor, using it to channel the internal power of his 9 yang divine skill, while healing Oscar. It also used soul power to run the first level of 9 yang magic. Oscar followed instinctively, under Tang Lan's guidance. He quickly mastered the first level, his soul power transforming into dense purple energy. Under the warmth of the 9 yang divine skill, he started to recover. Oscar snapped to attention. He felt the changes in his body and his eyes lit up. Was this the soul power route that the Dean said could cure Fatty's evil fire? But... Thank you, Oscar asked. But why, why would he teach him? I felt like it, Tang Lan said casually. He turned and left. Oscar stared after him. Were all geniuses so impulsive? But he put it aside and started swinging the hammer faster. Then, he had another surprise. He could activate the first level of the 9 Yang magic while swinging the hammer. It would warm his sore muscles and help him recover faster. The inner energy of the dense purple energy also amplified his soul skills. The recovery sausage was about 10% stronger. One thing countered the other, barely enough to offset the wear and tear of swinging the hammer. He was still pushing his body, but there was hope he could finish. Tang San saw all this. He glanced at Tang Lan, feeling a little resentful. What was his brother doing? His goal had been to make sure Ma Hongjun failed. He didn't want Oscar to win, either. Now, what? Tang San wondered if it even counted anymore. Night fell. Oscar dragged his battered body back to the dorm, eating some of Xiao Xian's jelly beans to make it. The visible progress was all thanks to that incomplete technique, and with the perseverance he'd shown, success wasn't far off. Tang San couldn't take it anymore and found Tang Lan. Brother, what are you doing? Tang Lan chewed slowly, looking around the canteen. Zhu Zhuqing silently grabbed her unfinished food and walked out. Dai Mubai and Ning Rongrong followed. Xiaowu sat next to Tang Lan, looking like she was ready for anything. Tang Lan finally swallowed his food. He said slowly. Brother, haven't I always supported your hidden weapons and self-created soul skills these past few years? Tang San lost his fire. He knew he was out of line. What are you getting at, brother? Oscar's got a good heart, Tang Lan said. I admire his will to push himself so far. Tang San nodded in agreement, but, he still felt uneasy. Tang Lan suddenly asked, Zaya Sanzi, what do you plan to do in the future? Tang San was stunned. He hadn't thought about it. Become a title Douluo. With the skills of the Tang sect, he was sure he could do it. Then what? Live alone. Find a woman and live in seclusion. But then the Tang sect's skills would disappear. Tang San didn't want that, and started to feel a pull to something else. You don't want those self-created soul skills to disappear, do you? Tang Lan was right. That's why I created the Tang sect, so they can shine in the Douluo continent. As long as you join the Tang clan, you're in it for life. We can't let the secrets of the sect get out. Why not take a chance and create an era? An era. An era for us two brothers. Tang San was shocked. He started thinking. He realized one thing. My last name is Tang. I'm Tang San. My destiny with the Tang clan isn't over. Was he supposed to rebuild the Tang sect in this world? But then he got confused. This Tang sect wasn't his. It was Tang Lan's. If he gave up his secrets, would it still be his? Tang Lan sighed, as if reading his mind. Zaya Sanzi, I've never stopped you from anything you wanted. If you feel like you can't get over that you didn't create the Tang sect, then I'll make you the sect leader. I can be the second elder. Tang Lan stepped back to move forward, and Tang San had to stop him. The Tang sect was doing well because of Tang Lan. He'd recruited talent, joined forces with the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, gained favor from the Heaven Do Empire, made money with firearms and soul guides, and laid the groundwork for mobile soul guides. Tang Lan had done everything, and Tang San hadn't helped at all. Now, he was going to take over the Tang sect. It sounded embarrassing, but Tang San had to admit, he was tempted. Did he want to take it? Chapter 44. Tang San fought for his life in danger. Double Pupil Evolution Route. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tang San was deeply touched. He felt an intense desire to restore the Tang sect, but Tang Lan wasn't worried in the slightest. Putting aside the current state of the Tang sect, he was the one who originally founded it. Even if Tang San wanted to take over, Ning Fengji would object. And even if Tang Lan were willing to provide complete assistance, Ning Fengji still wouldn't agree. This was a matter of unification, and more involvement meant more uncertainty. Besides, while Tang San possessed some talent, he was nowhere near Tang Lan's level. He wasn't worthy of partnering with the 7 treasure glazed tile school. And just look at the situation right now. Hey, Tang San. Xiaowu couldn't hold back any longer. Your brother has been looking out for you since you were little. She exclaimed. He gave you everything, his soul power techniques, his original soul skills, even the money he earned. You got new clothes while he wore patched up ones. He could have gone to a better academy, but he stuck with Shrek because he was worried about you. And now you want to steal what he's worked so hard for. Are you his brother or a parasite? Tang San looked ashamed, unable to argue. Since they were kids, Tang Lan, though often surpassing him, always yielded to him. After their father left, Tang Lan took on more responsibilities at home. You could say he was like a father to him. I was really moved. Tang San thought. If I'd agreed just now, he definitely would have given me the Tang sect. What would everyone think of me then? Why? No, it's fine. If I'm asked to offer anything to beat, I'll give it to you. Today was the first time I spoke. I can give my things to my brother, too. With that in mind, Tang San said, Brother, I want to build a new hidden weapon hall in the Tang sect to teach my skills. Is that okay? All right. This Tang sect belongs to me. If he teaches and produces disciples, isn't that just giving to me? Tang Lan smiled. He's been putting on this pitiful act for so long, and you finally took the bait. So you want to create a hidden weapon hall? That'll take a ton of your time and energy. Your cultivation will definitely suffer. No. I have to load even more onto him. Hey, we can't just think about your hidden weapons, Tang Lan said. This firearm concept also comes from hidden weapons, so let's call it a firearm. You'll be in charge of improving them. I think we should create a new weapons department responsible for researching hidden weapons and firearms, and producing core confidential components like bullets. For other firearms and simple hidden weapon parts, I'll hire a group of blacksmiths to work specifically with you. In addition, I'm appointing you, third son, as the deputy sect leader. All people and things in the sect will be at your disposal. What do you say? You want power. Here's power. You want people. Here are people. You want money. Here's money. Both the appearance and the reality are perfect. How could Tang San refuse? He could only nod in agreement. Thank you, brother. I'll do my best. We 2 brothers, let's conquer the world together. Tang Lan clapped Tang San on the shoulder, smiling. Dad will be so proud of us when he comes back. Hearing this, Tang San also looked forward to the future. Although Tang Hao was biased, deep down, Tang San still longed for his approval. That's right, Tang Lan changed the subject. When I was testing the gunpowder in the bullet earlier, it caused a big explosion when ignited in large quantities. Maybe we can use this idea to make explosives, like bombs. Immediately, Tang San remembered the number 1 mechanical hidden weapon, Buddha's Wrathful Lotus. In his previous life, Tang San spent 20 years using incomplete blueprints to create 3. But the key ingredient was explosives. In order to use a specific explosive lava powder, Douluo continent did not have it. If the gunpowder invented by Tang Lan could replace the explosive formula. The light in Tang San's eyes burned bright. Brother. I'm going to take a few days off. Please tell my dean. He darted off in a flash, heading back to the dorm to do research. Tang Lan was very pleased. He envisioned Qimen as a scientific research and security institution. As long as he kept giving Tang San scientific research projects that interested him, he'd become obsessed with research, unable to break free, and his cultivation progress would naturally decline, regardless of whether it was a hidden weapon or a firearm. Even if it was powerful enough to kill gods, it was still just a tool. In the future, Tang Lan would become a god king with unlimited lifespan. Tang San, on the other hand, would spend so much time on scientific research that he neglected his training, and Tang Lan would steal his opportunity. He would be a title Douluo. Even if he could kill gods with hidden weapons or firearms, what was the use? How long could he live? At that time, Tang Lan would declare the famous line of King Tang Shen, asterisk if you want to blame someone, blame yourself for not practicing hard enough in the first place, asterisk tsk. He was really looking forward to it. For the next 3 days, Tang San was nowhere to be seen. Flanders didn't mind. The sound of hammering in that dorm never stopped late at night, and the intensity of the work was far more exaggerated than what went on here. Even though Tang San wasn't here, Oscar wasn't lazy. He was focused on practicing until he dropped. Amazing willpower. Unsurprisingly, Tang San was accepted as a disciple. Tang Lan's mood improved again. There was no more hammering. Tang Lan would have to worry about firearms and hidden weapons from now on anyway. Jiuyang magic would automatically activate, and all he could do was exercise. Zhao Wuji had mastered the first level of Jiuyang divine art. His soul power had transformed into dense purple energy, and his soul skills had become more durable. But there was really no way to increase the gravity, no one else could withstand it. Tang Lan carried the Lei Yan Haotian hammer on his back and practiced Lingbo Weibu with Xiao Wu and the 3 girls. He led the way, followed by the 3 women, who mimicked his movements. Progress was encouraging. On the 6th night after Ning Fengji left, Xiao Wu knocked on the door and told Tang Lan that the 6th elder of the 7 treasure glazed tile school was here with a large group of people. They're finally here. Tang Lan said, smiling. Little Sanzi, stop forging and go receive the supplies. The sound of blacksmithing next door stopped. After a few seconds, Tang San, sporting a messy beard, opened the door, his eyes surprisingly bright. Where's the ore? There's a ton of it. It's all piled up in the playground. Xiao Wu hadn't even finished speaking when Tang San shot off like a bolt of lightning, heading straight for the playground. Xiao Wu curled her lips in displeasure. Brother, isn't your brother a little rude? Just ignore him, Tang Lan comforted her. He's been stuck on a metal material lately, so I wrote to my brother and asked for a batch for him. They should be delivered together. Xiao Wu didn't hesitate after hearing that. Pulling Tang Lan in the other direction, she said, the 6th elder is in the dean's office. He says he has something important and must hand it over to you. That sounded pretty important, but if he really wanted it to be taken seriously, shouldn't he come directly to their door? Still, he was sitting in the dean's office. Tang Lan didn't say much. After all, in other people's eyes, the Tang clan was just a nobody. He and Xiao Wu went to the dean's office. Then they heard an angry shout, you actually bullied our Rongrong? Unforgivable. You'll pay the price today, huh? Tang Lan frowned. Why was Ning Rongrong complaining as soon as he arrived? Grandpa 6, don't listen to the guard's nonsense. Ning Rongrong's voice came. I was the one who brought up others' scars first, and I'm fine. Oh. So the guard was exaggerating. It was impossible for Ning Fengji to leave Ning Rongrong here alone. Tang Lan glanced at Xiao Wu, who stepped forward and knocked on the door. The discussion inside stopped abruptly. Come in, Flanders called. Xiao Wu opened the door, and Tang Lan followed her inside. There were only 3 people in the dean's office, Ning Rongrong, Flanders, and a white-haired middle-aged man. Xiao Lan, you're here, Flanders said, standing up to greet him. This is Chi Feng, the 6th elder of the 7 treasure glazed tile school, a level 84 contra. You guys talk in detail. I'll go outside and take a look. He took the initiative to leave the dean's office and closed the door behind him. Chi Feng nodded to Tang Lan, his expression neutral. He pointed to a pile of ore on the ground and a large wooden box next to it. These are the precious ores specially brought from Xinging City as instructed by sect leader Ning. What's in the wooden box is 10,000-year-old whale glue purchased from the nobles. There are 9 pieces in total. I'll hand them over to you now. Take a look. His tone was businesslike, neither friendly nor distant. Tang Lan checked the ore and found that it included everything on the list, and the amount was doubled. Each piece of whale glue was substantial, and it was definitely over 10,000 years old. Ning Fengji was reliable in his work. But on Tang San's side, it was probably going to be in vain. He'd store all of it in the Blue King. The Blue King had been re-refined by him, and the space was expanded to 15 meters in length. Very useful for pretending. I have another mission this time, Qifeng said at the right time. Sect Master Ning asked me to bring a group of disciples to your Tang sect. Rumble. A huge roar came from the direction of the playground. The four of them turned around and saw a burst of fire rising up. This was explosives. The host made Tang San unlucky with the immortal seal, overdrawing his potential and reducing his future achievements, and robbing Tang San of a trace of his luck. Reward, level +1. A small amount of the 9 Sun divine skill's inner power emerged, making Tang Lan's face freeze. Tang San's immortal seal was being practiced incorrectly, and it could ignite soul power with potential and vitality, bursting out with powerful combat power. But the side effects were also huge, so it wouldn't be used unless life was on the line. He just went to get something. Why did he risk his life? Not good. Qifeng exclaimed in shock. That's where the supplies are stored. A golden-winged eagle appeared behind him. His first soul ring lit up, and his hands turned into wings as he flew out of the window. You two, take care of each other. Tang Lan gave instructions. He activated the flying soul bone skill of Blue Silver's right leg bone, and injected a large amount of internal energy into it, catching up with Qifeng. It surprised him. When he saw Lan Yin's right leg bone, he narrowed his eyes slightly. He didn't realize it was a 100,000-year soul bone. He was just surprised that Tang Lan had soul bones at such a young age. But the soul bone skill was garbage like flying and had little effect on him. He looked back, *, not a 100,000-year-old soul bone, usually only one soul bone skill, star. Boom. 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 Amidst the dense explosions, sparks rose in the playground. The source of these explosions was the small iron balls thrown by Tang San. Around him, a group of people dressed in 7 treasure-glazed tile school costumes were unleashing soul skills while summoning their martial spirits. Everyone aimed straight for Tang San's vital points. Fortunately, Tang San was using Ghost Shadow Perusal and activated the Reverse Immortal Seal, which greatly increased his speed and reaction time. He could always find a gap to slip through among a barrage of gorgeous soul skills, narrowly avoiding attacks again and again. Farther out, Zhu Zhuqing and Dai Mubai were also fighting. Dai Mubai, being of a higher level, was besieged by 3 three-ring soul masters, but he still managed to hold his own. However, breaking through would be difficult in the short term. Zhu Zhuqing was only a second-ring Great Soul Master, but she was surrounded and suppressed by 2 third-ring Soul Masters. Yet, relying on Lingbo's microsteps to dodge left and right and counterattack from time to time, she had a slight advantage, *. Is there a big fight, star? Tang Lan, who protected his own, didn't care about the reason. The double pupils of his left eye lit up with purple light, soul bone technique, life burial. Across hundreds of meters, the life-soul blue-silver emperor erupted with Tang San as the center, spreading all over 10 meters in a single breath, binding a dozen people and absorbing all their energy in a predatory manner. What is this? I can't cut it open. It's absorbing my soul power. Why are my legs so weak? Soul masters below the 4th ring soul sect fell to the ground, weak. The 4-ring soul sect had weak hands and feet, making it difficult to attack. Several 5-ring soul kings fared better, but they couldn't break free. 6th ring soul emperor. There wasn't one. Otherwise, even if Tang San activated the reverse immortality seal, he wouldn't have survived until now. Tang San breathed a sigh of relief when he saw the life-soul blue-silver emperor. He quickly stopped the reverse immortal seal, a few strands of white hair appeared on his forehead, and he began to sweat all over his body, shaking and on the verge of collapse. Tang Lan supported him as he fell, and the internal energy of the 9-yang divine skill poured in for free, repairing Tang San's overdrawn vitality and messing with his Xiaogang internal energy. However, the vitality absorbed by the life soul Lan Yinhuang was saved by Tang Lan, preparing to discard it later, the main theme being to torture Tang San. At the same time, a lot of mental energy was accumulating. It actually stimulated his double pupils, and he began to slowly absorb these external spiritual powers as nourishment for his own evolution. About every 5 seconds, they grew 1 year. Tang Lan's eyes lit up. Asterisk, what a benefit. Very good, asterisk, pretending to be angry, he looked around, and the blue-silver domain expanded to its limit. The first soul skill, Blue-Silver Emperor's Thorn. Densely packed blue-silver emperors of life souls emerged and entangled more than 70% of the 7 treasure glazed tile school disciples. Although the absorption efficiency wasn't as good as that of life burial, the large amount was sufficient. Double pupils directly became 1 second per year, soaring all the way. Happy to Tang Lan, this group of people forced Tang San to fight to the death, and now they sacrificed themselves. What nice guys. On the periphery, Zhu Zhuqing and Dai Mubai were also able to get out of trouble. They looked at the little forest in front of them in shock, their eyes full of disbelief. Those were dozens of soul masters. Being tied up like that? Before Tang Lan fought with Flanders and Zhao Wuji, they only thought that Tang Lan was impressive. Now, fighting against him at the same level, they realized how abnormal he was. In the sky, Qi Feng was also surprised by Tang Lan's power. But he determined that Tang Lan wasn't killing them, only absorbing soul power to weaken their resistance. He didn't try to stop it. He knew that Tang San was Tang Lan's younger brother. They had been dependent on each other since childhood, and they had a close relationship. With his Contra's eyesight, it wasn't difficult to see that Tang San had used a method of overdraft explosion just now, damaging his foundation. No matter what the reason, now that this had happened, it would greatly impact the cooperation between the two companies, for better or for worse. It would be nice to let Tang Lan vent his anger. He turned around and found a disciple on the edge, and wanted to understand the situation as soon as possible. Seeing this, Tang Lan was happy to maintain the status quo. His left eye felt slightly warm, as if he saw a series of. Chapter 45, Giving Tang San Fire Spirit Ginseng. Chongtong's new ability. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 10 minutes later, the Qibao glazed sect disciples were completely wiped out and unconscious. Tang San had also recovered, but the turmoil within him left him even paler than before. Bro, I'm feeling better, save your soul power, Tang San said. Tang Lan ignored him, continuing to pour his 9-yang divine skill energy into Tang San. Don't be a hero, kid. I've got plenty of power to spare, just relax and take it. Tang San panicked. Activating the reverse immortality seal had already pushed him to his limit. The more 9-yang energy he absorbed, the less he'd need his Shantian skill, and he'd be stuck with it. He immediately shoved Tang Lan away. I'm fine, save your energy for what's coming. This earned Tang Lan a system notification. Host caused Tang San's cultivation to regress and stole a small amount of his luck. Reward, all soul bone years plus 300. Since Tang Lan had 3 soul bones, this meant a free 900 years. And after scanning his double pupils again, the age jumped to 2891, an increase of 771 years. As his soul bones aged, his physical fitness naturally improved, and the lifespan of his 3 soul rings extended to 121 years. Tang Lan could barely contain his grin, not even Barrett could suppress this feeling, Afraid Tang San would notice, he quickly changed the subject. Little Sanzi, didn't you come here for something? Why were you fighting? Tang San, looking peeved, glared at the still-bound disciples. I just got close, and they chased me away. I told them who I was, and they said they couldn't touch these supplies without the 6th Elder's permission. I figured I'd wait for you. But then they started saying that being sent to our Tang sect to study was like being exiled, that they weren't valued. They also kept running down our Tang clan. How could I let that slide? So I challenged them to a little competition to show them what the Tang sect was made of. Turns out, these guys have no honor. When they started losing, they sent in the heavy hitters. They ganged up on me, 3 4-ringed soul sects against me. I took some of them down with hidden weapons, and then they all jumped me. I didn't bring many hidden weapons, so I had to use those unstable explosives as a last resort. Then you showed up. Asterisk good grief, asterisk Tang Lan thought. Arrogance and bossiness aren't just Ning Rongrong's thing, it's a Qibao glazed sect tradition. Still, if Tang San hadn't stirred things up, these guys might have gotten their hands on Barrett and Vulcan cannons, and Tang Lan could have been caught in the crossfire, asterisk hold on. A super long-range sniper like Barrett shouldn't be bought and sold so easily. Tang Lan released his life soul, the Lan Yin Huang, freeing the drained disciple. He turned to Chi Feng and Ning Rongrong. Listen up, anyone buying or selling Barretts in the future has to pass a Tang sect assessment to make sure they're not a threat. Sniper armor-piercing bullets have to be registered, every single one accounted for. Otherwise, he paused for emphasis, I won't be able to sleep at night. Ning Rongrong blushed, and Chi Feng looked ready to explode. No problem. Tang San chimed in, perhaps a bit too eagerly. I'll make sure of it. Review. Verify. Just trying to make things difficult. Ning Rongrong and Chi Feng couldn't argue. Their Qibao glazed sect had screwed up and gained nothing. Several 5th-level Soul Kings ganged up on a 2nd-level Soul Master and still lost. A real embarrassment. They were also getting a clearer picture of this small Tang sect. No wonder sect leader Ning had stressed its importance before they left. They had been too complacent. After years as the 3rd sect, they'd become arrogant, a serious problem. But the immediate issue was calming the Tang clan's anger and preventing the partnership from falling apart. Chi Feng forced a smile, swallowing his temper. Sect Master Tang, the Qibao glazed sect is to blame for this mess. These disciples will be sent back, and will carefully select replacements with better character. And to our little friend Tang San. He's the deputy sect leader of the Tang sect, Tang Lan interrupted coldly. If you can't get his forgiveness, tell your people that our Tang sect is too small to accommodate the Qibao glazed sect's giant Buddha. Chi Feng's eyebrows shot up. He had to bite the bullet. Deputy sect leader Tang has been wronged. These disciples will apologize one by one and kneel outside Shrek Academy for 3 days and 3 nights as a warning. We'll also provide 10,000-year-old herbs to heal Deputy Sect Master Tang's injuries. And since the Tang sect focuses on soul guides, you must need precious ores. Just give us your list, and we'll triple it. Is there anything else you require, Deputy Sect Leader Tang? Tang San's anger began to fade. It wasn't that he was forgiving, but the other side was offering so much. 10,000-year-old herbs were one thing, but he had personally created the ore list, high quantity, high quality, incredibly valuable. Tripled. Who could say no to that? Seeing Chi Feng's willingness to bargain, was there anything else he could ask for? The ore was enough for now, maybe an upgrade. Before he could decide, Tang Lan stepped in. How about building another foundry outside Shrek Academy? Something bigger than the one in Soto City. Your workshop is cramped, and it limits what you can do. Tang San perked up. A personal foundry meant he could forge at any hour without disturbing anyone. Okay. Sounds good. Tang Lan inwardly sighed in relief. Almost got a new opportunity there, kid. As for the foundry, it wouldn't be Tang San's personal property, but the Tang clan's. Host made Tang San lose the conditions promised by the 7 treasure glazed tile sect and robbed a small amount of Tang San's luck. Reward, external soul bone double pupil years plus 3,000. Tang Lan's left eye warmed. The years for his double pupils had shot up past 5,000. Copying soul bone skills added a skill slot, and now self-created soul skills were also included. This was like getting 2 soul bone skills, external soul bones are seriously OP, Qifeng also breathed a sigh of relief. The Qibao glazed sect could solve any problem with money. Consider it done. It'll be built ASAP. I'll send people to Xinging City to hire experienced blacksmiths directly, without troubling Deputy Sect Master Tang, now that's what I call rich, Tang San nodded, about to speak, when Tang Lan put a hand on his shoulder. You need to rest for a couple of days. I've been at level 40 for a while. Let's go soul ring hunting together. Tang San hesitated, then nodded in agreement. Whatever you say, bro. Tang Lan smiled. This trip was a must, after all, the soul bone attached to the 8-spider spear had a destiny waiting, and Tang San needed to be there when it went down. Qifeng, meanwhile, was instructing the disciples, telling them to apologize to Tang San the next day and then kneel as punishment. Rongrong, I'm leaving this to you. I need to get back to the Qibao glazed sect to mobilize resources. He nodded to Tang Lan, activated his first soul skill, spread his wings, and flew off. Once he was gone, Tang Lan pulled out his cell phone. There were only 2 in the mainland, one with him and the other with Chen. He dialed. The signal was strong. After a few rings, someone answered. Is that Lan Di? Ning Fengji's voice came through. Chen must have given him the phone. Tang Lan was about to speak, but Ning Rongrong cut in. Sect Master, should I handle this? Happy to avoid a conversation, Tang Lan handed her the phone and walked away. He found Zhu Zhuqing and Dai Mubai, rubbed 2 spiritual light balls, and held them out. A reward for a good performance today. Dai Mubai shook his head. Compared to Deputy Sect Master Tang, I didn't do much. I don't deserve a reward. Tang San held off dozens of spirit masters, including several 5-ring spirit kings. He was just dragging 3 3-ring soul masters, might as well say it. No matter how hard he tries, he's still stronger than him. After all, Tang Lan has armed him to the teeth. Seeing Dai Mubai's refusal, Zhu Zhuqing also hesitated. Tang Lan grabbed the light ball and pressed it against her chest and forehead. Stop being polite. As for Dai Mubai, did Tang Lan care if he wanted it? The mental ball shattered with a thought. Tang Lan yawned, activated his flying soul bone skill, and headed for the dorm. Zhu Zhuqing woke up with a jolt, her eyes wide. The 7-in-1 Zhenwu 7 Intercept Formation had an increase of 64 times. That was insane. Looking at Dai Mubai, who had a complicated expression, and remembering Tang Lan's gesture from before, she knew this was different. Dai Mubai had turned it down, and he was respected. Zhu Zhuqing had no say in the matter, and Tang Lan just forced it upon her. Did this mean Tang Lan favored her? This thought made her smile as she ducked away, leaving Dai Mubai standing alone, unable to process what had just happened. He was like a dog on the roadside, barking only to get kicked. The sect master gave it, so just accept it. Why be so mouthy? Back in his dorm, Tang Lan summoned his external soul bone and double pupils. Feeling those 5,891 years, his mouth curved into a wide grin. Today was a good day. Now, what to put in that skill bar? Life Burial was the obvious choice, fast, powerful, restrictive, with blood-sucking properties. The second slot, though. Since he could now copy and store his own soul skills, he carefully chose the dragon capturing hand. Lingbo Weibu was a movement technique, and the immortal seal was semi-passive. One person couldn't use the 7 Zhenwu formation anyway. Comparing Blue's Silver Emperor Thorn and Blue's Silver Emperor Explosion, the dragon capturing hand could work wonders at specific times. As a technique for grabbing objects from a distance, it previously required building up internal energy. Now, it could be cast instantly, doubling its usefulness. The next day, the Qibao glazed sect disciples, unruly the night before, lined up outside the dormitory early in the morning. As soon as Tang San appeared, they knelt down, shouting, we bumped into Deputy Sect Leader Tang. We're here to apologize, bang 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 went their heads against the floor, a sincere performance, to say the least. The commotion woke others, and dormitory doors opened one after another. Zhu Zhuqing and the other Tang sect disciples were filled with pride at the spectacle, Qibao glazed sect. You still have to apologize to my Tang clan, only Ma Hongjun looked unhappy. It was like no one wanted their ex to have a better life, especially if they couldn't have them. Seeing the Tang sect's power, he was probably the only one who couldn't feel joy. However, Ma Hongjun still had some sense. He kept his emotions hidden and sped up his training. Unbeknownst to him, Tang Lan noticed everything. He always kept his blue-silver domain active on a small scale, so nothing escaped his attention. In his mind, Ma Hongjun was now labeled as small-minded. Such people were fine if they followed the right leader and were kept in line. Otherwise, they were unlikely to achieve much. After apologizing, the Qibao glazed sect disciples received Tang San's forgiveness. Despondent, they continued to kneel at the college entrance. Ning Rongrong stepped forward, handing over a wooden box with a smile. Tang San, this is what I sent last night. 10,000 years fire spirit ginseng to nourish your vitality and strengthen your foundation. The fire attribute is best for the 9 yang divine art, which can greatly enhance your level. The ore will arrive with the blacksmith in a few days. Tang San held the wooden box, staring at the steaming 10,000 years fire spirit ginseng. He hesitated, his expression complicated. Tang Lan could barely contain his laughter. Ning Fengji had clearly gone to great lengths, finding ginseng tailored to the 9 yang divine art, but the problem was, Tang San didn't know the 9 yang divine art at all. Xiantian Kung conflicted with the former, and he could not practice them simultaneously. For Xiantian Kung, the ginseng was useless, even poisonous. But how could he tell them? He hadn't even told Tang Lan that he hadn't practiced the 9 yang magic art. What to do now? A very good herbal medicine, Tang San said blandly. He stored the wooden box in his storage ring and headed to the cafeteria. Tang Lan finally let his grin break through. Let him hide this secret. Now Tang San was forced to bear his suffering in silence, ha ha ha. Chapter 46 Ning Rongrong Sacrifice. Did Zhu Zhuqing misunderstand? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ning Rongrong, sharp as ever, sensed something was off with Tang San. He shot a questioning look at Tang Lan. Did I mess up? She and her dad had worked hard last night, trying to make amends to Tang San. Relax. Tang Lan smiled. You did great. Let's just put it behind us. Ning Rongrong still looked puzzled. You did great, but why the long face? Oh, it's because those inner circle disciples were giving her the stink eye for the whole mess Wubo caused. Yeah, that's it. Sheesh. They better all be ready to haul bricks later. If anyone drops one, they're on their knees for an extra day. But for now, Ning Rongrong hurried to Tang Lan, producing another wooden box. Sect leader, this is a 30,000-year-old fire ginseng, to go with Tang San's. My brother asked me to give it to you as an apology. Oh. Tang Lan was a little surprised. Another one? And still 30,000 years old. He took the box, opened it, and a blast of heat hit him, even stronger than Tang San's, just a sniff, and his Zhuyang divine art felt a jolt, picking up the pace. Major score. Nice. Much appreciated. He stashed the box away. He'd wait until he condensed his soul ring, then use it to amp up his inner power. Ning Rongrong grinned. So, sect leader, about yesterday, that offer to teach me a custom soul skill if I bowed to you, is that still on? Huh? Tang Lan, already turning to leave, glanced back at Ning Rongrong. Something clicked. Thinking about the 30,000-year-old fire ginseng, he nodded. It was just a technique. If the sect's disciples learned it, so what? It wouldn't cost him a thing. His mind was already full of blue-silver grass anyway. Snap, star. Ning Rongrong dropped to her knees, kowtowing to Tang Lan. Rongrong, reporting for duty, Uncle Tang. Then she bounced up, beaming, and held out her hand to Tang Lan. Zhenwu 7 Intercept Formation, hand it over, Uncle Tang. Wow! Who knew the free-spirited Princess Ning could be so adaptable? Or maybe, being the Qibao glazed sex little princess, she just knew how to cut a deal. A quick kneel, plus gaining a monster uncle, also meant learning a killer custom soul skill, not to mention Tang Lan was basically Ning Fengji's sworn brother anyway. No matter how you sliced it, she was coming out ahead. Tang Lan didn't welch. He tossed her a spiritual light ball. As Ning Rongrong absorbed it, he walked past her toward the canteen. Xiao Wu, who was waiting, sidled up and took Tang Lan's arm like it was the most natural thing in the world. She muttered, "Doesn't Ning Rongrong strike you as a little calculating? More like she's taking one for the team." Tang Lan said calmly. Ning Fengji is probably worried about how last night's events will affect their partnership. So they switched gears. Instead of setting up Ning Rongrong to be my wife, they had her recognize me as her uncle. It strengthens the bond between the two parties and diffuses the tension. I'll bet Ning Fengji didn't waste any time last night, asking Ning Rongrong to make this sacrifice. Xiao Wu's rabbit ears perked up. Asterisk be your wife. Star, this Ning Fengji seems so laid back, but he's playing chess, not checkers. Good thing. Now that Ning Rongrong was Tang Lan's niece, things shouldn't get weird, right? But how can you keep so much bottled up? Xiao Wu said. That poor Rongrong. Poor her. Give me a break. Tang Lan said. To whom much is given, much is required. She's enjoyed the perks of being from the Qibao glazed sect her whole life. It's natural she'd have to make sacrifices for it. He looked at Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing behind them, making a point. Everything fate hands you comes with a secret price tag. Whether it's power, money, beauty, or talent, you always have to work to deserve it. Otherwise, bankruptcy leads to ruin. In that moment, Dai Mubai felt a jolt of energy, shooting from his tailbone to his brain. Wasn't that him he was talking about? He and Ning Rongrong were two peas in a pod. Born into a royal family, enjoying all the glory and wealth, but unwilling to take responsibility, which resulted in neglect from his family and separation from his fiancée, ending up alone, because he hadn't put in the work before. He didn't deserve it now. Dai Mubai silently slowed down, drifting away from Zhu Zhuqing. He got it now, it was over between him and Zhu Zhuqing, time to move on. If he didn't want the same regrets, he had to work his tail off. Oscar lived up to his promise. On the morning of the 7th day, he finished 10,000 swings of the hammer. That forging hammer was stained with his blood. The ground where he stood was even pockmarked with potholes, but none of that mattered. Oscar looked at Tang San eagerly, waiting for him to say the word. He'd heard about Tang San's battle a few days ago. No need for martial arts, that he could take on tons of soul masters all at once. Tang San might not be as talented as Tang Lan, but he was still way ahead of Oscar. He'd be a more than capable master. In fact, this method of relying on external objects to defeat the enemy was even better suited to Oscar. Faced with Oscar's hope, Tang San sighed. He nodded. Let's do the apprenticeship ceremony. Oscar was ecstatic. Trying to hide his smile, he clasped his fists and bowed deeply to Tang San. Disciple Oscar, reporting to Master. Tang San reached out and helped Oscar up, his sleeves soaked with sweat and blood. Taking a disciple with that kind of grit was an honor. There was a flash, and something appeared in his hand, a 10,000-year fire spirit ginseng. You've been pushing yourself too hard physically, so take this 10,000-year fire ginseng as a pick-me-up. Once you hit level 30, you can refine the rest to level up. Don't worry about your foundation. This 10,000-year fire spirit ginseng and 9 yang divine art are a match made in heaven. Oscar took it, grinning even wider. Thank you, Master, for the gift. Tang Lan also walked over, handing over a storage ring and a spiritual light ball. As your uncle, I'll give you an apprenticeship gift too. Oscar's eyes lit up. He grabbed both of them. The spiritual light ball was, of course, one of the 7 Zhenwu formations. The 64x boost blew Oscar's mind. It was insane. Thank you, Uncle Born, standing to the side, Ma Hongjuan's eyes popped. Was that how luxurious an apprenticeship ceremony could be? He was kicking himself, he should have teamed up with Oscar to swing that sledgehammer from the start. If even a support-type Soul Master could do it, then there was no reason a battle-type Soul Master couldn't. Too bad, there was no do-over in life. Flanders felt the same regret. He regretted not pushing Ma Hongjun harder. That was how he picked up those lazy eating habits. Now, in Shrek Academy, Ma Hongjun was the only one who wasn't a member of the Tang sect. He was afraid that later. "Oh yeah, Master," Oscar suddenly said, "since that first day, I've already hit level 30. Huh?" Flanders looked surprised. Even though his apprentice was dead, this adopted son had chops. He immediately said with delight, "Perfect timing. It's time for Xiaolan to hunt for soul rings. We'll set out tomorrow to find you one." "Sounds good to me," Oscar said with a goofy grin. Whatever the dean, the sect master, and the master say. Well now, a lot of people liked hearing that. "Time to hit the road," Tang Lan agreed. "Any later and we'll be in trouble." "Then I'll go back and pack," Tang San said. "Xiao Ao, come with me. I'll teach you some techniques." "Yes, sir." Oscar, over the moon, followed Tang San. At Tang Lan's feet, blue silver grass swayed. It was Tang San sending a message. He wanted to teach Oscar the third level of the Nine Yang divine art. Tang Lan was fine with it, but he was wondering, no Xiantian Kung? Was he planning to teach the secret weapon techniques? Or maybe, he'd use Oscar as an experiment. See if Nine Yang magic and hidden weapon Baijia could work together. Buzz. Under the force of gravity, Tang Lan snapped back to reality. Watching the others getting ready to train, he suddenly felt curious. "Tang sect," he called out, except for Ma Hongjun, Zhu Zhuqing and the other two stopped and came to Tang Lan. "We'll be hunting soul beasts soon, so let me see how far you've come. I don't use martial souls, so join forces and go all out. You can even use firearms." Zhu Zhuqing and the others exchanged looks. "Rongrong, did you learn the 7 Zhenwu formation?" Dai Mubai asked. "Can you use it?" Ning Rongrong shook her head. "I just learned it this morning. Haven't even practiced yet." Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing tacitly agreed not to team up. It was just a friendly competition. No need to get fancy. "Then we apologize in advance, Sect Master." Dai Mubai bowed and activated his martial soul. He knew how crazy Tang Lan was. Zhu Zhuqing also activated her martial soul, and she and Dai Mubai attacked from the left and right. Tang Lan didn't panic. He even closed his eyes. The blue-silver domain was definitely easier on the eyes. He didn't even use his inner power. He raised his hand to block the attacks. The 7 treasures turn out to reveal the glaze, which is called strength. The 7 treasures turn out to be colored glaze, so hurry up. The light from the soul skill fell on them, greatly boosting their speed and strength. At the same time, the soul skill activated. First soul skill, Netherworld Thrust. Zhu Zhuqing's speed shot up again. She skimmed along the ground, circling back and aiming for Tang Lan's legs. Second soul skill, White Tiger Fierce Light Wave. Dai Mubai spat white light from his mouth, aiming for Tang Lan's chest. Attacking from the left and right, above and below, front and back. Ning Rongrong also pulled out the Python revolver and fired, left and right. Tang Lan was under attack from 3 sides. Even if he was 10 levels higher than them, he should at least use his martial soul, right? But then, a layer of golden light appeared on Tang Lan's body. He activated the Vajra indestructible body. Dai Mubai's White Tiger Fierce Light Wave hit Tang Lan's chest first, making the thin layer of golden light ripple slightly. That was it, a breakthrough. Not even close. It's easy. Zhu Zhuqing's netherworld thrust was like a spinning top, hitting Tang Lan's back knee, but failing to break through. Dang. The bullets from the Python revolver hit the golden light, flattening into metal shards and sliding to the ground. Their combined attack couldn't even break his defense. The golden light exploded. A wave of force knocked Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing away. Tang Lan grabbed each of them and tossed them toward Ning Rongrong. Ning Rongrong used Lingbo to dodge slightly, not forgetting to whip out her Uzi and empty the clip. Dang dang dang. Still nothing. Zhu Zhuqing twisted in the air and landed gracefully. Dai Mubai was less elegant. He dug his claws into the ground to stop his momentum, ending up hunched over like a tiger. Is that a custom soul skill too? Ning Rongrong said in surprise. Seal of immortality? Or what? It's the Vajra indestructible body. Tang Lan said easily. After practicing the 9-yang divine art to a high level, your inner power keeps growing, and it tempers your body, making it indestructible. Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Rongrong immediately ran out of ideas. Girls couldn't practice this 9-yang magic skill. Dai Mubai's eyes were shining. The Vajra indestructible body was perfect for him. Tang Lan crooked his finger. Attack with everything you've got. Stop playing around. The three of them refused to back down and launched another attack. Third soul skill, White Tiger Vajra transformation. Dai Mubai grew bigger, and his firepower was maxed out. Zhu Zhuqing switched to support, teaming up with Ning Rongrong's weapons to try and divert Dai Mubai's fire. Under Tang Lan's pressure, it was hard to survive. Too bad, until their inner strength ran dry, they couldn't even make Tang Lan flinch, and Tang Lan. Not only was his stamina endless, but he wasn't even sweating. Zhao Wuji watched, gritting his teeth. If he hadn't run into the monster Tang Lan, he would have been coasting this whole time. Tang Lan didn't use up much physical strength, but he did use up his inner strength. The 9-yang divine art was inherently endless, and the immortal seal could convert vitality. The more he fought, the more inner energy he got. He couldn't even use it all. The gap was as wide as the Grand Canyon. It was intimidating, and he was completely impressed by Tang Lan. They were just normal people and couldn't compare to that monster. As expected of the sect master, we couldn't even force out your martial soul, Dai Mubai said with a wry smile. If Barrett and the Vulcan cannon were loaded, I could at least make you move, Ning Rongrong said, feeling annoyed that she couldn't get any traction. Zhu Zhuqing said nothing, just looked at Tang Lan. Such a powerful man. For someone with a weakness for strength, her whole body was practically glowing. Especially, the two also had martial soul fusion skills that were a perfect match. It made her cold heart flutter. Xiao Wu's figure flashed past. After spending this time together, she knew they weren't biological siblings, especially with Xiao Wu's nightly visits, but still. Tang Lan's power was intimidating. If she was the only one, would she have him all to herself? And in the Star Luo Empire, that it was normal for the royal family, nobles, and some powerful soul masters to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. Maybe. It's not impossible. That night, Xiao Wu opened her eyes, stood up, and looked at Zhu Zhuqing. She was met by a pair of bright cat eyes. Ah! You're still up. Xiao Wu felt a little guilty. You go there every night, but there's no noise. What are you doing? Zhu Zhuqing cut to the chase. Xiao Wu was stunned. She'd been so careful, even using soul skills to teleport directly. How did she find out? After a brief moment of shyness, she admitted it. I've slept in the same bed as my brother since I was 6 years old. 2 people cultivating together has long been a habit. I can't sleep without my brother by my side at night. Zhu Zhuqing was silent. She was a double cultivator. How serious was it? Was it the double cultivation she thought it was? Zhu Zhuqing's look became even weirder. Xiao Wu didn't realize what was wrong. After all, no one had ever taught her those things. Now that she'd been caught, Xiao Wu stood up and winked at Zhu Zhuqing. Then you have to keep it a secret for me. See you tomorrow, *whoosh, star. She teleported away. Zhu Zhuqing was left alone, unable to sleep for a long time. Her mind was a mess. Until daybreak, Xiao Wu teleported back, still asleep. Ah! So fast. Zhu Zhuqing said, is the sect leader's combat effectiveness that bad? Xiao Wu. Did she hear that right? Chapter 47 Tangmen Encyclopedia. Revealing Yu Xiaojiang's background. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seriously? That was fast, Zhu Zhuqing blurted out. Is the sect leader really that weak? Huh? What's fast? What are you talking about? Xiao Wu asked, confused. Zhuqing, didn't you sleep at all last night? You've got bags under your eyes. Zhu Zhuqing then realized she'd been up all night, because of a guy. I couldn't sleep, that had never happened before. She got up silently, the sheets sliding off her. Xiao Wu's confusion instantly turned into envy. That figure would make any woman jealous. After a quick wash, Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing went out, hand in hand. Tang Lan was waiting at the door. He looked a little surprised to see Zhu Zhuqing. You're usually so disciplined, why didn't you get any sleep last night? Zhu Zhuqing glanced at Tang Lan, the image of him and Xiao Wu together flashing through her mind. She looked away, flustered. Tang Lan frowned. Zhu Zhuqing seemed to be thinking about something inappropriate. Must be my imagination. Tang Lan took Zhu Zhuqing's hand and channeled the internal energy of the nine-yang divine skill into her. It circulated through her meridians, chasing away the sleepiness. Zhu Zhuqing stood there, not resisting, but not exactly welcoming it either, but for someone like her, not resisting said a lot. It's not a big deal if a soul master misses a night of sleep once in a while, but you're a girl, and you'll get ugly if you stay up too late. Tang Lan joked. Zhu Zhuqing remained silent. She knew Xiao Wu went to double cultivate with Tang Lan every day. She was confused now. If she wanted to surpass Xiao Wu, did she have to? Thankfully, Zhu Zhuqing was normally quiet and kept a cold expression. She didn't give anything away. After eating in the cafeteria, everyone gathered on the playground. Surprisingly, Qi Feng was also there, surrounded by piles of ore and a group of strong men. Tang San was instructing the men, sorting the ore and explaining how to temper it. Qi Feng saw Tang Lan and greeted him with a smile. Sect leader Tang, I heard you're going hunting for soul rings. I'm free, so I thought I'd tag along. He volunteered to be a bodyguard. Tang Lan glanced over at the teacher's area. Flanders, Zhao Wuji, and Li Yusong were three fighting spirit masters. Almost the whole school was involved. If another Contra came along, how would his plan work? No need, Tang Lan said, shaking his head. It's just for the third and fourth rings. 2 7-ring soul sages and 1 6-ring soul emperor are enough. Qi Feng didn't press the issue. Then I'll stay at Shrek Academy and supervise the construction of the foundry, waiting for you and Deputy Sect Leader Tang to return. Tang Lan nodded, agreeing. If you don't follow me, do whatever you want. But Ning Rongrong protested. Grandpa 6. She whined. So, you're just waiting for them, not me. Qi Feng gave Tang Lan a helpless look and went to placate the little princess. Ning Rongrong had been through a lot recently and her temper was much better. It was just a bit of pouting and it ended quickly. Then Qi Feng remembered something, took out 3 pieces of whale glue, and handed them to Oscar. This is 10,000-year-old whale glue. Taking 3 pieces together works best. It can increase the upper limit of your soul ring by about 1,000 years. You're going to hunt for soul rings this time, so you get to use them first. Everyone else will get some later. Thanks to Sect Leader Tang's extensive knowledge, I know about this amazing use. Otherwise, it would just be wasted on those nobles. Oscar looked touched by the idea of increasing the 1,000-year limit, but he held back and looked at Tang San and Tang Lan. A contra like him isn't trying to butter up a nobody like me. His restraint pleased Tang San, he said, since Elder Qi is offering, Xiao Ao, go ahead and take them. Yes, Master. Oscar accepted the whale glue. Thank you, Elder Qi. Qi Feng smiled and waved his hand, as friendly as the grandpa next door. The arrogance he'd shown at their first meeting was gone. The past few days must have been quite an experience. Oh, right. Tang Lan pulled out a book as thick as his head and handed it to Qi Feng. Elder Qi, please ask the Qibao Glazed sect to help distribute this book, so it can be spread across the entire continent as quickly as possible at cost. Qi Feng didn't respond immediately. He flipped through it first. After all, he was using the Qibao Glazed sect's resources. If Tang Lan was publishing porn, it would be a disaster, but what he found, he couldn't put it down. Among the 10 core competencies of martial souls, the mimicry theory is incomplete. Although animal martial souls and plant soul rings can absorb different types of soul rings, the rate of increase isn't as high as when they absorb the same type. Absorbing the same type of soul ring naturally grants a lifespan bonus of about 5%. The closer it matches, the higher the increase, up to 20%. Of course, a different soul ring isn't necessarily the wrong choice. For example, blue silver grass absorbing a spirit master of the mandala snake can increase toxicity and paralyze the enemy. Though the lifespan is reduced, it can increase the diversity of the martial soul. But at the same time, you'll lose the possibility of the ultimate martial soul mentioned above. You can decide which one is more important. Qi Feng turned another page. The third of the 10 core competencies of martial souls is incomplete. Though the soul ring bottleneck won't prevent a soul master from improving their soul power, their training efficiency will be greatly reduced, and the maximum level can only be accumulated to 10 levels. Since a person can have up to 2 soul rings stuck, they can't directly cultivate to a titled Douluo and then hunt for soul rings. Therefore, if there's a spiritual treasure that can increase soul power without any damage, it can block 2 soul rings and increase the life of the previous soul ring. But remember not to overdraw the potential. Whale glue is just a side effect of aphrodisiacs, but its real effect is to strengthen the body, thereby extending the lifespan of the soul ring. One piece of 10,000-year whale glue can increase the upper limit of a soul ring by 500 years. After that, the effect of consumption will weaken. 4 pieces can increase the upper limit by 1,200 years. There's no level limit for absorbing soul bones. All you need to do is awaken the martial soul. It can greatly improve your body and extend the life of your soul ring. Qi Feng kept reading, lost in the book. Tons of insider knowledge, theories that went against common sense, and unimaginable combinations. He had to admit, the person who wrote this book was the smartest man in the world. Then he stopped dead on one page. Even if the innate soul power is level 0, it's not impossible to cultivate. Even innate soul power can be changed through practice before awakening the martial soul. The following are 2 soul power routes, both of which can achieve the above effects. Those who complete the first chapter can be considered outer disciples of the Tang sect. After completing the second chapter, you can become an inner disciple. The first soul power route was extremely simple. Qi Feng didn't care for it, but for commoners with no other opportunities, it offered a glimmer of hope to access knowledge. As for the second soul power route, it had a name, the first level of the 9-yang divine art. Qi Feng's eyes widened in shock. Tang sect's unique skill. Turning back to the title page, he saw the signature Tang Lan author clearly written. He looked at Tang Lan in disbelief and asked, Tang sect leader, are you sure you want to make the 9-yang divine art public? What? Ning Rongrong and the others were shocked. They hurried over. Tang San was stunned when he saw the familiar soul power route. Bro! You said you want to release this book to the whole continent. Tang San asked, his voice trembling. Then the 9-yang divine art will become public. Tang Lan shrugged. It's just the first level. Not everyone can master it. People with low talent won't get anywhere. And those who can learn it must have at least average talent. It's best if they can join our Tang sect. Even if they don't, they'll still be grateful. In the future, my Tang sect descendants will be able to get a lot of help when they travel the continent. Of course, that was BS. The real reason was something unique to the great perfection of 9-yang divine art, homogeneous absorption, the inner force, that dense purple energy from the first level of the 9-yang divine art, also had yang attributes and could be absorbed by him without any loss. At most, he'd need to compress it. Once this book spread across the continent, it would be like the whole continent was his spare blood bank. And with the help of the soul guide, Blue Silver Grass could weave a Blue Silver Grass network all over the continent. Once a connection could be formed, even if God himself came, he'd wear him down to death. The picture isn't too big, but at that moment, in the eyes of Li Yusong, Flanders, and other civilian soul masters, Tang Lan seemed to be glowing. His plan is so grand, I'm ashamed of myself, that if they had this treasure, they'd hide it, or maybe share it with their closest relatives, taking it out and advertising it widely. No way. Everyone was still reeling, Qifeng was still flipping through the book, getting more and more amazed. Soul Master Training Experience, Soul Beast Illustrated Book Registration, Soul Ring Selection Analysis. It could be said, as long as you read this book thoroughly, everyone would be a master. Snap! Qifeng closed the book and saw the name on the cover. Tang Sect Encyclopedia. Okay. What a Tang Sect Encyclopedia. Sect Leader Tang, your big heart will definitely rewrite the map of the entire continent. Tang Lan felt proud. He'd written this by combining the Encyclopedia of Soul Master Cultivation, Encyclopedia of Soul Beast Illustrations, Encyclopedia of Martial Soul Cultivation, Encyclopedia of Soul Ring Identification, plus the foresight of a time traveler. Xiaogang's top 10 core competencies of martial souls. Trash that should have been eliminated long ago. The main reason he hadn't released it before was that he didn't have the right channels to fully promote it, plus, he had to be wary of that thesis thief Xiaogang, who would jump out and steal the credit, that would be ridiculous. Now, with the cooperation of the Qibao Glazed sect, he could safely borrow their resources and promote his own name. Fighting the plagiarism dog Xiaogang was secondary, the main goal was to establish his authoritative image in front of Tang San and the entire Tang sect. That way, future actions would be more convincing, easier to harvest. By the way, it would also shake the rule of the Spirit Hall and the two great empires, and win over the hearts of the people. You see, the first god in this world was a god of faith, though he had Poseidon to steal. It was better to be prepared, and, think about it, even if you become a god, the power of faith is still useful, right? Then there was the blue-silver grass signal conversion soul guide he'd obtained by accident. Combined with the homogeneous absorption of the 9-yang divine art, he could try his luck and see if it could be linked. If he could pull it off, he'd be invincible. If he didn't gain allies across the world, it was no loss. 3 years. Qifeng said confidently. Within 3 years. The Qibao Glazed sect will have this book in every corner of the continent. His eyes shone and he clutched the book tightly. It was easy to see that everyone would have a copy of the Tang Sect Encyclopedia in the future. Even civilian families would have to buy it. There was a way to break through level 0 innate soul power, that though the Qibao Glazed sect hadn't written the book, being able to publish it would still bring a lot of invisible benefits, but Tang Lan frowned. 3 years? Tang Lan asked, confused. Why so long? Does it need to be reviewed? Sect leader Tang doesn't know. Qifeng explained patiently, your Tang Sect Encyclopedia has a lot of words and images, and engraving the entire page requires a ton of work. The 3 years accounts for the manpower and resources of the Qibao Glazed sect. Tang Lan sensed something was off. Is this the Douluo continent? Are they still using engraving printing? Elder Qi, could you tell me more about how you're engraving these pages? Qifeng immediately explained in detail. Tang Lan was speechless. It really was engraving, no wonder it takes so long. They're so behind. Tang Lan pretended to have an idea. What if we made single character reverse character models and selected the single characters according to the manuscript? Wouldn't that make it faster? Qifeng was stunned. With that one idea, he realized the convenience and could save at least 90% of the time. After all, if you engraved the entire page, one mistake would ruin it. It took a master 10 years to be qualified to do it, but with the printing method Tang Lan mentioned, you could just hire a bunch of people to carve out all the characters, then assemble them into an engraving version. It would be amazingly fast. Why hasn't anyone thought of this before? Qifeng looked at Tang Lan in admiration. That young brain is something else. As expected of sect leader Tang, a simple change can be so amazing. I wonder if the Qibao Glazed sect can use this printing technique to print other books. Tang Lan waved his hand casually. This movable type printing technology will also be included in the encyclopedia, so everyone can benefit. Asterisk what a guy, star, Qifeng gave a thumbs up. Sect leader Tang is a legend. With you in charge, the Tang sect is destined to rise above. The last 3 sects that have been hidden from the world might be replaced by Tang sect. Grandpa 6. Ning Rongrong interrupted abruptly. There seems to be something going on over at the foundry. Go take a look. Qifeng was confused, then his expression changed. Oops, asterisk this is the son of that guy, who is Orthodox Haotian sect, star. Asterisk he was also attacked by Tang Lan, and spoke out of turn, star. He quickly apologized. Don't blame me, Master Tang. I misspoke. I will personally supervise this Tang sect encyclopedia. Within 1.5 months, it will be spread across the entire continent, that with movable type printing, the efficiency would be insane. Then I'll leave it to you, Elder Qi, Tang Lan said politely. As for replacing the Haotian sect, he's not interested. Asterisk if you're going to do something, be the strongest, star. Asterisk after him, the Tang sect would have at least 7 gods, star. Asterisk the last 3 sects, star. Asterisk are you worthy of standing with my Tang clan, star. As soon as Qifeng left, the scene exploded. Bro, when did you learn all this? Xiao Wu asked, confused. I just read some of the teacher's theories. Some of them are subversive. Is any of that true, brother? Tang San was a little doubtful. As expected of the sect leader, he knows so much. Oscar gushed. Zhu Zhuqing didn't say anything, but the chaotic thoughts in her eyes were slowly clearing. Asterisk it seems like she'd figured something out. Asterisk. Ma Hongjuan's expression was extremely complicated. The better Tang Lan got, the harder it was for him to accept the fact that he missed his chance. Only Ning Rongrong frowned. Tang Lan was only 12 years old. How did it seem like he could do everything? He had a demonic talent, a strong body, was handsome, quick-witted, and had unrivaled combat power. Now, they had to add erudition and knowledge. Asterisk is it really possible for a human being to do this? Star. She'd glanced through it a little bit. Some of the knowledge in the Tang sect encyclopedia was unheard of, even by her, the little princess of the Qibao glazed sect. Asterisk where did Tang Lan learn this? Star. This was, asterisk very abnormal, star. Asterisk there must be a big secret, star. Ning Rongrong smiled brightly and became very interested in Tang Lan. She didn't realize it at all. Asterisk a woman's downfall begins with curiosity, star. But what's even sadder is, up until now, Tang Lan had no interest in her, and she didn't know it yet. Chapter 48 Are you mediocre if you dare not cause trouble? If you want to cause trouble, settle it. Why? You are listening at novelfull.audio. As the Tang sect leader, Tang Lan didn't feel like explaining things, and the others hesitated to ask. They immediately marched toward Star Do Forest with purpose. Shrek Academy chose its location with soul ring hunting for students in mind, placing it near Soto City and the Star Forest. With 3 teachers along this time, Zhao Wuji didn't hold back. He cranked up his soul skills to increase gravity, pushing everyone toward the forest. My cultivation hasn't lagged behind at all. 7 treasures turn to colored glaze. Step on the gas. Ning Rongrong proactively boosted the group's speed with her soul skills. After some teamwork, the Tang sect disciples became the core. She's fitting in and becoming a reliable teammate. With so many people getting a speed boost, Ning Rongrong tugged on Tang Lan's sleeve, asking for some extra soul power when she started running low. Compared to Oscar's mystery mushroom sausages, the 9 Yang divine skill's internal power is warm and way more addictive. Seeing this, Zhu Zhuqing grew even quieter, wondering if Ning Rongrong was making a move on Tang Lan. Xiao Wu was also catching on, but her internal power wasn't endless, so Tang Lan had to step up. Tang Lan noticed all this but kept quiet. Less said, less trouble. Let them figure it out themselves. As for Princess Taiping, Tang Lan hadn't given her much thought. Having Xiao Wu was enough for him, plus, he wasn't really on the hook for anything, so things were fine for now. Tang Lan could replenish internal strength, but he couldn't do much about physical exhaustion. That's where Oscar came in handy. One of his sausages, and they could keep going for another few miles. Flanders was pleased with how everyone was working together. With a little monster like Tang Lan around, these students didn't need much guidance from him. They had even overcome their sausage phobia. It was so relaxing. What? Did that make it seem like Shrek didn't have great teaching? Please. If it weren't for Shrek's reputation, how could they have gathered such a group of extraordinary students? Zhao Wuji played the role of a human punching bag daily, Xiao Xian slaved away in the kitchen, and Flanders was always there to supervise. It was all a sacrifice, but Flanders frowned as he looked at Ma Hongjun, who seemed like an outsider trailing behind the group. This student, despite his laziness and pride, he was just too awkward to fit in. I need to talk to him. If you worry too much about saving face, it'll just make things harder in the long run. But it just doesn't click for him. Good thing there's still Xiao Ao. For the Soul Master Elite competition, 7 people are enough. Hongjun can be a substitute. As night fell, they had traveled almost 300 miles and were now less than 60 miles from the Star Forest. Flanders scanned the team. Even Tang Lan's clothes were drenched with sweat. Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing were clinging to him on either side. Carrying them had been a real burden. If it was getting to Tang Lan, it must have been even tougher on them. The rest of the team was staggering, collapsing onto the ground without a care for appearances. Exhausted, Flanders announced, "It's getting late, and everyone's wiped out. Let's find a hotel in the next town to rest." They were too tired to even respond. They found a cheap hotel. "Eat whatever you want, the academy's paying." Flanders declared generously, for a miser like him to say that meant Ning Fengji's investment was really paying off. Whoa! It's not every day you get to eat the dean's meat, so don't hold back. Oscar yelled. I could eat a cow. This is the first time I've ever had a meal paid for by the dean, Dai Mubai joked. Tang Lan got straight to the point. Grabbing the menu, he shouted, "Boss, I'll take one of everything." Coming right up. The boss replied, thrilled by the size of the order. Flanders panicked. No matter how rich he was, they couldn't order like that, right? He quickly grabbed the menu. Xiao Lan. You can't eat all that. Sure I can. I can pack it up, Tang Lan said with a smile. There's no air in my storage ring, so the food will keep for a long time. Wow. Dean, you're not backing out on your promise, are you? Xiao Wu exclaimed. Your authority's gone out the window. Yeah, Dean, Uncle Tang says a man's gotta keep his word. Ning Rongrong added playfully, what could Flanders do? He gritted his teeth, let go of the menu, and watched the boss walk away with a heavy heart. He was going to take a serious financial hit today. The atmosphere was generally cheerful, but Ma Hongjun, usually the most gluttonous of the bunch, was silent and detached. Flanders caught a glimpse of him and sighed. He was already planning how to find opportunities for Ma Hongjun to integrate into the group. Then, Zhao Wuji raised his hand to stop the boss, giving Flanders a glimmer of hope. As a brother who was beaten together, he'll definitely speak for me and yell at them for being so wasteful, right? But Zhao Wuji just boomed, Boss, bring us the best wine you have. 1 jar for each person. It's time these little monsters learned how to hold their liquor. Flanders, equals Omega smiley face. Zhao. Wu. Gee. They're just kids. He tried to reason with them. Ning Rongrong piped up, Dean, we're all over 10, we can drink. That's right. Oscar chimed in. And we're soul masters, so it's not a problem. Flanders glared at him, scaring Oscar into hiding behind Tang San. Master, back me up. Tang San was just as helpless, but still said, a little wine tonight will help us sleep well, and we'll get up early tomorrow. He's still my student, after all, so I have to give him some support. What could Flanders do? He steeled himself and said, Boss. 10 jars of wine. I want the strongest stuff you've got. Tonight, I'll show you all what true drinking capacity looks like, so you can feel confident when you go out in the world. He'd fill them with booze and call it a learning experience, but everyone took it in stride. A treat from Flanders is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It had to be a good one. The food and wine arrived quickly. After a few drinks, everyone started to relax, led by Flanders. Oscar and the others started toasting Tang Lan in different ways, all in good fun. Sect leader, This cup is for the future of Tang's sect, cheers. Uncle Tang, you can't turn down a toast from your niece, right? Xiaolan, why don't you just become a teacher? Let's have a drink. Tang Lan knew they were trying to get him drunk, but he wasn't one to back down. They wanted to see him make a fool of himself. Not a chance, he kept the 9-yang magic circulating, turning the alcohol into vapor before it could even enter his bloodstream. Isn't using internal force to avoid getting drunk just a basic skill? He could drink 1,000 cups without getting tipsy, he could drink all the booze in the hotel and wouldn't even have to go to the bathroom. Even a 7-ring soul saint like Flanders couldn't pull off such delicate maneuvers with his soul power. Drink after drink, Ma Hongjun, already a bit drunk, started spouting nonsense under the influence. I just don't get it, Brother Lon. Everyone else accepts me, but why not me, the fat guy? I was born with full soul power, and my mutated martial soul isn't half bad either. Why don't you want me? That the lively atmosphere immediately dropped. Everyone had noticed Ma Hongjuan's outsider status, but unless Tang Lan spoke up, Xiao Wu and Tang San wouldn't step in, and who else was qualified to? They could only pretend not to notice, but now Ma Hongjun had brought it out into the open, and everyone looked at Tang Lan, waiting for his answer. Tang Lan calmly took a sip of wine, savoring the spicy kick. He ignored Ma Hongjuan's words, pushing them aside. He wasn't about to indulge Ma Hongjuan's impatience, he had to get an answer immediately. Clang! The hotel door burst open. Ma Hongjun instinctively looked up, his eyes widening. A middle-aged man strode in, followed by 7 teenagers in school uniforms. One of them, a short-haired girl, wasn't especially pretty, but she still drew every eye in the room. She was even more captivating than Zhu Zhuqing. Ma Hongjun was drunk, and his lustful desires were burning. He completely forgot everything else, staring at her with hungry eyes. It looked like he was about to pounce. Tang Lan just shrugged at Flanders, as if to say, deal with it. Flanders was furious. Where did this guy come from? Talk about bad timing. Looking closer, he noticed a green badge on the left shoulders of the group, with the word Sanghui embroidered inside. Flanders winked at Dai Mubai. Dai Mubai understood. He deliberately raised his voice. It's just a rinky-dink Sanghui Academy. Stop showing off. But Flan pulled Zhao Wuji and Li Yusong away from the table. Tang Lan's eyes narrowed. He was going to be like that. Dai Mubai's taunt earned him angry stares from the Sanghui Academy students, but when they saw that the people at his table were just a bunch of kids who didn't even have matching outfits, they looked unimpressed. The middle-aged man even whispered something to the people around him. Then, he found an empty table nearby and sat down. Oscar chuckled and said, looks like we're about to see a good show. But no one responded. Tang Lan's previously relaxed expression had turned serious. Xiao Wu, Tang San, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ning Rongrong, who were always watching him, sensed that something was wrong. Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun were old-timers and knew the academy's traditions, so they kept their mouths shut. The atmosphere suddenly cooled. Dai Mubai and Oscar exchanged glances and kept quiet. Why is everyone so quiet? Ma Hongjun asked without looking back. Isn't it time for tonight's training? Come on. Oh. What kind of training? Tang Lan asked. Dai Mubai and Oscar focused on their food, afraid to answer. They tried to pull Ma Hongjun back under the table. Unfortunately, Ma Hongjun was in his own world, and the thought of that girl made him too riled up to listen. He shook them off. Of course, it's the training the dean told us to do. Ma Hongjun said matter-of-factly. The dean says that those who are too scared to cause problems are just mediocre. Don't be afraid of trouble, be willing to get into trouble. Especially when you run into other academies, it's best to start trouble. Worst case, you'll just have a fight. Tang Lan frowned. He was happy to run into Sanghui Academy. The timeline was right, but this teaching philosophy, he wasn't Mother Teresa, and he always made sure to get revenge as soon as he could. If someone crossed him, like Ning Rongrong had, he'd make sure they paid for it. His policy was always an eye for an eye, but picking a fight with everyone they met just because they could. That sounded like some kind of mental disorder. In a way, weren't they starting to act like those spoiled disciples from the 7 treasure-glazed sect, with their arrogant and domineering attitudes? If that kind of culture took hold, Tang's sect wouldn't go far. Tang Lan's future as a god was on the line. And even after becoming a god, he planned for Tang's sect, like the Spirit Hall, to harvest faith from the world. The atmosphere couldn't be corrupted. Finally, Tang Lan said calmly, "Niece Ning, that sounds an awful lot like you used to be." Ning Rongrong. This princess had turned over a new leaf. Why was she still being used as a bad example? But anyone with half a brain could tell Tang Lan was not happy. Just then, a young man from Zhenwu College walked over, passing by a waiter carrying a tray. He precisely aimed the tray and knocked it into Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun. Of course, the two of them were more than capable of handling it. With quick reflexes, Dai Mubai caught all the food and put it back on the tray. Ma Hongjun was much more forceful. He unleashed his soul power, sending drinks and food flying, splattering onto the young man. Nearby waiters and diners were also hit, before they could get angry. "Damn fatty, you're looking for a fight." A green wolf manifested behind the young man, his martial spirit-empowered wolf claws swiping at Ma Hongjun. Ma Hongjun sneered. He flamboyantly activated his martial soul, and his 2 yellow soul rings triggered a stir of surprise among the Zhenwu Academy students. He's a 2-ring soul master already? Relying on his higher level, Ma Hongjun grabbed the boy's claws and swung him around in the air without mercy. "Wait!" The middle-aged man from Zhenwu College shouted, "He's..." Crash! The young man was thrown through 2 dining tables, sliding to a stop in front of the Zhenwu Academy girl. He had successfully shown off his strength. Bang! The middle-aged man slammed his hand on the table and stood up. 5 soul rings, white, yellow, yellow, purple, and purple, appearing beneath his feet. A 5-ring soul king. The hotel guests scrambled to flee. The boss was mortified. But he didn't dare to intervene. These were all soul masters. Their actions could easily kill ordinary people, who would risk their life to step in. "I am Yi Zhiqiu, director of the Foreign Affairs Department of Zhenwu College. Which academy are you from? Where are your teachers?" Yi Zhiqiu demanded. Dai Mubai glanced at Tang Lan. Tang Lan remained unconcerned, picking at his food and drinking wine as if he hadn't heard a thing. Dai Mubai didn't dare to speak up and sat there patiently. Seeing the 5 soul rings, Ma Hongjun's mind became clearer, but he grew angry at the others still sitting at the table. "Are you just going to sit there and watch me get bullied by a 5-ring soul king?" Dai Mubai and Oscar were ready to jump in. But the others just looked at him strangely. "Isn't this your own fault?" Tang Lan said calmly. "Since you wanted to cause trouble, you should be able to deal with it. Dai Mubai, you should go too." Dai Mubai stood up with a wry smile and held Oscar back. "Can't you tell? The boss is trying to establish his authority." Ma Hongjun was stunned. Just him, a 2-ring great soul master, and Dai Mubai, a 3-ring soul master, against a 5-ring soul king? Wasn't this just asking to get thrashed? "Humph. You have some sense," Yi Zhiqiu said coldly. "You too, I'm not going to bully children. Call out your teacher." Dai Mubai's mouth twitched. This was not going to end well. Then he saw. Chapter 49 The Immature Tang San. Break with Shrek. You are listening at novelfull.audio. "Humph. You think you're so clever," Yi Zhiqiu sneered. "Listen, I'm not here to pick on kids. Get your teacher out here." Dai Mubai felt a knot form in his stomach. This was bad. Ma Hongjun's eyes blazed. Did this guy really think he was playing with amateurs? Whatever, Flanders was on his way. There was no way they'd let anyone get hurt. Second soul skill, Fire Phoenix. First soul skill, Phoenix Fire Wire. Scorching flames erupted, shooting straight for Yi Zhiqiu, but with a level difference that big, he didn't even need to use his own soul skills. The black turtle martial spirit materialized behind him, casual and unfazed. Third soul skill, White Tiger Vajra Transformation. Dai Mubai, bulked up and roaring, lunged from the side, his razor-sharp tiger claws slashing. Martial Spirit Possession. The black turtle morphed into a green turtle shell, snapping onto Yi Zhiqiu's body. Dai Mubai's claws raked across it, forcing Yi Zhiqiu back a half step, but failing to break through his defense. Not bad. You asked for it. Second soul skill, Xianshui Freeze. A swirling mist of icy white erupted with soul power, instantly freezing Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun solid. One move, knockout. That's how brutal the power gap was between high-level and low-level soul masters. Upstairs, Flanders watched grimly, not understanding what Tang Lan was up to. The ever-impatient Zhao Wuji was about to leap down and rescue them. Asterisk swish, swish asterisk. With a rustle of leaves, a flash of green erupted beneath Yi Zhiqiu's feet, binding him and the 7 students from Zhenwu Academy in one swift motion. At Tang Lan's feet, the third soul ring glowed with purple light. You little punk. You got some nerve. Yi Zhiqiu roared, 5th soul skill. Ha! Tang Lan smirked, activating gluttony. Soul power drained from Yi Zhiqiu at an alarming rate, causing his own soul skills to sputter and fail. His life force was evaporating, making his limbs feel weak and shaky. His mind was becoming muddled from the sudden loss of mental energy. Asterisk crack, crack, star. Yi Zhiqiu's control faltered, and Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun were able to shatter the ice. The jolt snapped Yi Zhiqiu back to reality. He desperately tried to unleash his soul skill. Third soul skill, Xianshui Surge. Waves of water surged outward, trying to wash away the life soul blue silver emperor. He thought he could get away. No way. Aside from flattening a few blades of grass, the water barely touched the life soul blue silver emperor. With the boost from 3 20,000-year-old soul rings, this non-offensive soul skill was barely a tickle. Tang Lan fed his mental power to Chongtong. At the same time, he delivered a lecture. Just because you don't start fights doesn't mean you have to be scared of them. If a classmate is getting bullied, you kick the enemy's ass first, and ask questions later. Then we find out why. Discipline is our Tang sect's business. We'll decide how to punish someone if they screw up. Why should outsiders get involved? When you're in the right, don't show mercy. When you're wrong, fight like you're right. Got it. There was no way he could break free from the 5-ring soul king of the life soul blue silver emperor. At this moment, Tang Lan was exuding pure dominance. Bro, you're so cool. Xiao Wu said, her eyes full of adoration. Don't show mercy when you're right, and fight like you're right even when you're wrong. I get it, Tang San said thoughtfully. Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, and Oscar all nodded. The word sounded hardcore, but it was way more noble than that wimpy don't make trouble crap. Asterisk clap, clap, clap star. Flanders came downstairs, applauding enthusiastically. Sect leader Tang is certainly impressive. Does this mean you disapprove of my teaching methods? Flanders asked. I agree that people who don't dare to cause trouble are mediocre, Tang Lan said calmly. But using trouble as a way to train is just plain stupid. Flanders' face darkened, but Tang Lan didn't care. Now, all of the Shrek's 7 monsters, except Ma Hongjun, were set to join the Tang sect. If he had a falling out with Flanders, it goes without saying that Xiao Wu and Tang San would stick with him. Zhu Zhuqing craved power, and Ning Rongrong was tied to his interests, so they would follow him for sure. Dai Mubai had finally found hope, and would probably side with Tang Lan too. As for Oscar, it was a toss-up, but did he really want to leave the sect? No way. The 9-yang divine skill you've barely learned will be wasted 100 million times. I promise to erase every last bit of it, so you can start over. Yep, Tang Lan wasn't giving Flanders any slack, and kept arguing. Training by causing trouble will always do more harm than good. Like today with Zhenwu Academy. If you piss off someone more powerful, it's no big deal to take a beating, but making an enemy is a disaster. Nothing's happened in the past because Shrek only chooses students who are already monsters. Monsters can be arrogant, but they can't be evil. Otherwise, a dead genius is just a dead body. Every word was a slap in the face. Flanders looked like he was about to explode. Zhao Wuji, who had followed him downstairs, looked caught in the middle and shot Li Yusong a desperate look. Ahem. Xiao Lan, Li Yusong said, trying to mediate. On the road to cultivation, you have to fight for every inch. If you don't, opportunities will slip away and you'll be left behind. Tang Lan nodded in agreement. If there's a chance, you gotta grab it. But picking a fight with Zhenwu Academy over some perv, what chance is there in that? If it was anyone else, they'd be leering at Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing, then calling us a bunch of losers. I would have broken their arms and legs without a second thought. So what exactly would they have gotten for being the non-mediocre people who cause trouble? Li Yusong was silenced by the machine gun barrage. He had to admit, it made sense. Okay, put yourself in their shoes. If Shrek was from Zhenwu College, trying to pick a fight and getting Tang Lan in the middle, wouldn't he look like a clueless idiot? Looking back at today, what did Zhenwu College even do wrong? Come at the wrong time. It's a hotel, after all. People are always coming and going. Did Flanders' precious students have to pick this particular spot to talk business? It was childish. Li Yusong stared at Flanders with a strange expression, like a brainwashed guy suddenly waking up and realizing it was all wrong. That's nonsense. Flanders roared, those things you said are just assumptions. My Shrek students are all talented, and there's nothing wrong with being a little more aggressive. Oh. Tang Lan raised an eyebrow. Then the night school started. Why didn't you and Lao Zhao jump up and make trouble when you got your butts kicked? What, were you being mediocre then? Flanders' face turned purple. Zhao Waoqi dug his toes into the ground, mortified. Crap. How did this kid know what happened that night? Could it be, he knew his dad was Haotian Crown Prince? How dare he be so blunt? Li Yusong was completely lost. What the heck was this? Judging by Flanders and Zhao Waoqi's faces, it was definitely true. He shut his mouth. It was natural for you to be intimidated by a powerful person. You were being mediocre if you didn't dare to cause trouble. Then what the heck were you? I heard the dean is good friends with the master, right? Tang Lan couldn't help but add, the master has a famous saying, there are no useless martial souls, only useless soul masters. Do you agree with that? Flanders nodded without thinking. It was Yu Xiaojiang's favorite line. Tang Lan snorted and delivered the final blow. Then if that's the case, why does Shrek screen martial souls when recruiting students? Just test age and soul power, right? Flanders, Sigma, asterisk, quit asking before finishing the first question, huh? Was he no longer worthy of being dean? Fine. This is how we're playing. Then don't blame him for being rude. Flanders' expression turned cold, and he said, since sect leader Tang has such strong opinions, I'm afraid my little Shrek Academy can't accommodate you. He went for the big guns, expulsion. Too bad, this trick was useless on Tang Lan, who had been the oldest member of his family since his parents went missing. He nodded immediately and said. Besides Lao Zhao's gravity soul skill, Shrek just does some babysitting. Good riddance. Rongrong, tell Elder Qi that the foundry shouldn't be built here. We need to find another spot. Ning Rongrong nodded obediently, pulled out her phone, and went outside to make a call. Tang Lan had been free recently and had made a few movies. Flanders hadn't expected Tang Lan to be so decisive. His expression shifted. He hadn't thought it through when he was angry, but if they had a falling out now, wouldn't that mean? Tang Lan stood up. Dean Flanders says Shrek can't tolerate the Tang sect. Anyone want to stay? Xiao Wu jumped up first. Humph. I told you not to come to this Shrek place in the first place. It's far away and shabby. Zhu Zhuqing stood up second. The Tang sect can make me stronger. I'm quitting Shrek. With the addition of Ning Rongrong, who was firmly on his side, that was 4 students dropping out. Flanders began to regret his words. Why did his mouth move faster than his brain? Dai Mubai's expression changed several times. He also stood up and gave Flanders an apologetic look. The Tang sect gave him hope, and he didn't want to throw it away so easily. Sorry, Dean. I'm quitting Shrek, too. That left only Oscar and Tang San. You still sitting down? Xiao Wu said in disbelief. Your brother's getting kicked out, and you still want to stay? Tang San looked embarrassed. His master asked him to come to Shrek, and said he would be here to teach him in a little while. If he just left now, Tang Lan didn't expect Tang San to hesitate. Was he actually hesitating? He was truly a self-centered ingrate. Forget it, Tang Lan said, pretending to be tired. Third is old enough to have his own ideas. He doesn't need me to protect him anymore. If he wants to stay, he can stay. Tang Lan turned and left, leaving a sad figure behind. Zhu Zhuqing and Dai Mubai immediately followed. Oscar let out a sigh of relief. With Tang San staying, he didn't have to worry. Ha! Just because your wings have gotten a little stronger. Xiao Wu said sarcastically. Tang San, you better remember this. If you stay today, there's no place for you in the Tang sect anymore. Your brother lets you get away with stuff, but I don't. That she turned and caught up with Tang Lan without looking back. Tang San was struggling. Zhao Wuji suddenly spoke up. Flanders, thanks for taking care of me all these years. But the Tang sect offers me a chance to break through to title Douluo. Sorry, buddy, I can't pass that up. Lao Li, there's a jar of wine under my bed in the dorm. Dig it up and share it with everyone. Clenching his fist, Zhao Wuji chased after the group shouting. Sect leader, what about me? I'm the master of the martial arts hall, don't forget about me. Seeing that Tang Lan and his group were about to cross the gate, Tang San sighed that it was impossible to leave Tang Lan. The Tang sect was in dire straits. Also, he had to learn hammer skills from his brother, who was his only relative. Resources, manpower, money, knowledge, they all easily surpassed Shrek and the master, so, for a good relationship with his master and his brother, he went to the best of both worlds. That he stood up, took a phone from the storage ring and placed it on the table. Dean, please give this phone to my teacher when he arrives. He's my brother. Finished, he didn't look at Oscar, but chased after the group. Not forcing Oscar to stay or go was his apology for disobeying his master. But, now it was Oscar's turn to struggle. Even though Tang San had taught him the third level of the Nine-Yang divine art, but it also exposed a glimpse of the Tang sect's hidden weapons, which gave him the chance, a soul master, to also combat. And if he disobeys the order of Tang Lan, the sect leader, would he even be a member of the Tang sect? Rebellion was big. If Tang Lan comes to beat him up, even Flanders will have no reason to stop him. Hey! Xiao Ao. Ma Hongjun said rudely, if you leave, don't blame me if I never see you again. Oscar's face changed. He can't stop and is unhappy. Why are you listening to what Tang San says? Then what good thing is Tang Lan? Everyone has joined it, but I won't be accepted. Who are you showing off to? Everyone has joined the Tang sect. Does this Shrek belong to the teacher, or does he belong to Tang Lan? Ma Hongjun's words made Oscar look serious. That's enough. Flanders shouted angrily, Ma Hongjun. Don't you think the fuss is big enough? Ma Hongjun just shut up, but his face was not happy. Seeing this, Flanders sighed. The whole person looked older. I thought that with the support of the Qibao glazed sect, Shrek would finally be successful, but when he was most happy, reality slapped him. Shrek didn't have much to give, especially for Tang Lan. There is the title DouluoDalu, the 7 treasure glazed tile sect below. And he also has a bunch of self-created soul skills. At best, Shrek can only give a venue. Oscar him, the Tang clan is better for growth. Why? Oscar, go ahead. This sentence exhausted all of Flanders' strength, and he sat down in the chair. Teacher. Ma Hongjun said in disbelief, do you know what you're talking about? Shut up. Flanders shouted angrily, you don't want to be good, but you want to prevent others from being brilliant? Lao Li, take him back to his room. Li Yusong grabbed Ma Hongjun, sealed his soul power, and quickly went upstairs. Boom! Oscar fell to his knees, tears welled up in his eyes. Thank you, Dean, for adopting me. Great! His head hit the floor hard. Stand up straight. His forehead was red and stained with some dirt. No matter what happens to me in the future, I will still be your son. Great! His head was red. My child is being unfilial today. Great! Blood was flowing down his cheeks. Flanders looked sad and raised his hand to wipe it, but stopped. In the end, he closed his eyes. Go on. Oscar stood up and ran out the door. there was no one outside. Oscar went off. That he took off all the baggage and ran towards the Star Do forest. After 10 minutes, that he caught up with Tang Lan and his group who were running with gravity soul skills and carrying heavy loads. Tang Lan nodded at Oscar's bloody head. You made the right choice, Dai Mubai. Was relieved. He came forward to help Oscar and let him relax. Too many to ask. Oscar was adopted by Flanders since he was a child. If he chooses to leave Shrek and follow the Tang sect, the process will not go well. The group marched another 10 kilometers. Tang Lan stopped and clapped his hands together. Blue's silver domain, 3-story villa. Blue's silver grass interweaves into a 3-story villa. A villa. What a convenient ability. Ning Rongrong said. The realm can still be used like this. Zhao Wuji said, as soon as everyone went in, the blue-silver grass grew sealing all the doors and windows, each has their own assigned room. Tang Lan was lying on the bed and grinned, it's done. 2 updates, 8500, please vote. Is it true that no one is willing to comment favorably on this review? Oh. Chapter 50 Tang San was despised. Then you have to attach a soul bone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tang Lan was riding high on this victory. He'd not only ditched Shrek but also landed on the moral high ground. Sweet. The fact that Flanders, Zhao Wuji, and Li Yusong were tagging along had made Tang Lan's plan more complicated, and now, after teaming up with the Qibao glazed sect, Shrek's resource pool was practically empty. Let's be real, Tang San's biggest asset there was the Shrek 7 devils themselves. As for Flanders and the crew. Seriously? Stuck in a village with no decent training facilities, 5 teachers, 2 heavy hitters, 1 speedster, 1 control freak, and a food type, lacking support, defense, and plant-based soul masters. Ning Rongrong and Tang San were history. Their training mostly consisted of running or sparring. The teachers were mostly just hanging around, occasionally taking students out on soul ring hunts, and even that could end in disaster. Out of the 62 students Shrek had ever seen, 48 had died. An 80% mortality rate. Were all those deaths really from hunting soul beasts? Tang Lan suspected that Flanders' risk-averse, mediocre leadership was largely to blame, so, Tang Lan had been waiting for the perfect moment to ditch Shrek and move on. When Zhenwu Academy popped up, he jumped at the chance to use it to his advantage. He didn't expect Flanders to be so cooperative, dropping out of the school so quickly. Talk about a gift from heaven. He even took Zhao Wuji and Oscar with him. The only difference from the original plan was the absence of that nobody, Ma Hongjun. It couldn't have gone better. But Shrek did have one more card to play, annexing Lanba Academy. That depended on Yu Xiaojiang's connections. With Tang San around, was Yu Xiaojiang going to follow him? If he did, Tang Lan would just offer Yu Xiaojiang a guest elder position and cut off that opportunity. Suddenly, whoosh! Xiao Wu teleported over, interrupting Tang Lan's train of thought. Brother, I'm so happy today. Xiao Wu said, beaming. That village was such a dump, worse than not in college. Tang Lan smiled. Xiao Wu had been with him for 6 years, and her values were right where he wanted them. Suddenly, Xiao Wu's expression darkened. It was your brother who was hesitant, remember? She said, sounding unhappy. What have you done for him all these years? Why doesn't he have your back? Honestly, Tang Lan waved it off. He's still my little brother. Since our father isn't around, I'm like a father to him. If a son goes astray, it's the father's fault for not guiding him. He was taking the blame. Xiao Wu was even more annoyed. You're only a few minutes older than him, and you act like you have to raise him. Tang San is so ungrateful. The same sentiment was echoing in other rooms. Dai Mubai was bandaging Oscar's head. Seeing Oscar so down, he tried to distract him. Your master Tang San is being a bit of a jerk. Even if it had been Xiao Wu hesitating today, Tang San shouldn't act like that. Watch your back in the future. Oscar snapped out of it, looking conflicted. Tang San was his master, so he didn't want to say too much, but actions speak louder than words. Tell me about it. Zhao Wuji slapped his thigh. The sect leader has been amazing to Tang San. Soul guide blueprints, self-created soul skills, his hard-earned skill experience, and rare ores. Giving him everything he has. Did you know he turned down an invitation to the Tiendo Royal Intermediate Academy just to look after Tang San, and came with Shrek instead? Flanders might talk a big game, but let's face it, Shrek has nothing going for it except us old-timers. And when the sect leader needed support the most, Tang San hesitated. Anyone could see he was weighing the pros and cons. Then, after doing the math, he realized that sticking with the sect leader was way better than staying with Shrek, so he ran to our side. The sect leader didn't even call him out on it, just acted like nothing happened. TSK, 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 Zhao Wuji's words dripped with disdain. Tang San's a real piece of work, Dai Mubai nodded in agreement. Xiao Ao, I'm not badmouthing your master, but trying to show you who he really is. While it's said that a teacher should be respected as a father, there are plenty of heartless teachers who exploit their students. Today, you saw Tang San's true colors. Be careful in the future, or you might get burned. Oscar hung his head silently, but his lack of defense for his master said it all. With a master that's self-serving, you better watch your back. Ning Rongrong found Zhu Zhuqing's room. She wasn't surprised to see Xiao Wu there. Of course she went to Tang Lan. Xiao Wu was the best person to comfort his wounded ego. I wanted to ask Xiao Wu about Tang San's past, Ning Rongrong grumbled. I just don't get why he hesitated, but even the usually stoic Zhu Zhuqing frowned at the mention of it. Tang San really was too much. You think he's an ingrate too, right? Ning Rongrong didn't hold back. If we had an idiot like that in the Qibao glazed sect, we'd cripple his soul power and kick him out. That's Tang San, Uncle Tang's brother. If it were anyone else, like Oscar, Uncle Tang would have found a way to ruin them in the future if they didn't stick around today. Zhu Zhuqing nodded in agreement. The sleazy creep from back then had just said a few crude things. Tang Lan had confiscated his tools. With a vengeful streak like that, he wasn't someone who took things lying down. They bonded over their shared outrage. Ning Rongrong changed the subject. Zhuqing, you like Uncle Tang too, don't you? Zhu Zhuqing. She kept her cool and just stared at Ning Rongrong, waiting for her to continue. I knew it. You like him too. Ning Rongrong confirmed. How did she know? Anyone could see that you came here for Dai Mubai at first, right? Ning Rongrong continued. If you just wanted to break off the engagement, you wouldn't have traveled all the way from the Star Luo Empire, especially since you were still being hunted. And you and Uncle Tang knew each other before, right? Tell me about it. Zhu Zhuqing stayed silent. Ning Rongrong wasn't fazed and kept talking. Want to form an alliance? Get Tanglan alliance. The rise of Tang's sect is inevitable, and the three upper sects are practically guaranteed. If we don't seize this opportunity now, we'll miss out. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes glazed over as she thought back to last night. If you wanted to win Tang Lan over, you had to cultivate with him, right? Seeing her like that, Ning Rongrong knew she was right. She reached out and grabbed Zhu Zhuqing's hand. It's settled, then. From now on, we're allies. We'll share intel and cover each other's backs, okay? Zhu Zhuqing didn't say anything but didn't pull her hand away either. She honestly didn't know where to start. Since Ning Rongrong seemed to have a plan, she could use that as a starting point. At the same time, Tang San was tossing and turning in his room. He kept replaying the image of Tang Lan's devastated face. Slap, he smacked himself. The more he thought about it, the more he regretted it. How could he have hesitated? So what if Shrek was involved? They had nothing. And he hesitated. He must have been so hurt. Would he stop being so unconditionally good to him? What a huge loss. It's all that damn fatso Ma Hongjuan's fault. What was that about? He's got a death wish. The next morning, Tang Lan, who had slept soundly with Xiao Wu in his arms, woke up early. He walked out of his room. And out came Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuqing on his left, and Ning Rongrong on his right. They looked a little awkward. She had teleported back to her room not long ago, only to find Ning Rongrong sneaking in to sleep with her too, caught red-handed. Now someone else knew about her and Tang Lan's double cultivation. Now that we're all awake, go wash up in the stream over there and then we'll head out, Tang Lan said. The three women wordlessly walked to Tang Lan's left side, avoiding Tang San on his right. Dai Mubai dropped back, keeping his distance from Tang San. Only Oscar quietly stepped forward, took the basin out of the storage ring, and fetched water for Tang San. Seeing that, Tang San looked conflicted, the aftereffects were still lingering. "Brother." Tang San couldn't help but ask, "Are you still mad?" Tang Lan glanced back, opening his mouth but saying nothing. He looked like he was struggling to speak. That made Tang San even more anxious. Usually, Tang Lan would smile and say, "You're my brother, how could I be mad at you?" But now, his brother was really angry. Tang San smiled wryly and said sincerely, "Brother. It was the teachers who asked me to go to Shrek, remember? I was just thinking yesterday about how to politely reject Dean Flender. I never thought about leaving you or leaving Tang clan. You're the only family I have in this world." Xiao Wu got goosebumps, just a lame excuse, right? Tang Lan snapped out of it and chuckled. He walked over to Tang San and ruffled his short hair. "Ha! You're my brother. How could I stay mad at you? Pack up and get ready, everyone." His words sounded genuine, filled with unspeakable joy. Seeing that, Tang San breathed a sigh of relief. His brother still loved him. But Xiao Wu and the others felt awful. Tang Lan was obviously hurting, but he pretended not to care and even comforted Tang San. Little did they know, Tang Lan was actually thrilled. He was about to say something when the system interrupted him. The host successfully revealed Tang San's true colors to the Shrek 7 devils, alienating them and preventing Tang San from ascending to godhood. Seized a moderate amount of Tang San's luck. Reward, 23333 externally attached soul bone, right foot of the ancient tree of life. Another externally attached soul bone. How could Tang Lan not be ecstatic? The corners of his mouth were practically touching his ears. He didn't even care that it was a right foot from the ancient tree of life, as long as it was an attached soul bone. Who cared what it was? Seeing Tang Lan smiling so happily, Xiao Wu felt a pang of guilt. She went all out fetching water, wringing towels, and packing his clothes. That made Tang Lan even happier. When they were ready to leave, Zhao Wuji asked, "Sect Master, should we pick up the pace today?" Tang Lan shook his head. "Everyone trusts me and is willing to follow me. I won't let you down." He pulled out 2 storage rings, the smaller one at 1 cubic meter. He tossed them to Zhao Wuji and Dai Mubai. Then he took out a delicate silver ring and handed it to Zhu Zhuqing. This one had a capacity of 125 cubic meters. "We're about to enter the Star Dough Forest. Everyone, go back to your rooms and pack away your belongings. You can train anytime, but training in the dangerous Star Dough Forest is a mistake. Remember. If your life is in danger, run away. Only living geniuses become titled Douluo." Got it? At that moment, everyone had the same thought. They were following the right guy. Everyone went back and stored their belongings. Tang Lan didn't close down the blue-silver villa. He even had the words Tangmen carved outside, and below that, free accommodation for travelers. He knew how to build his reputation. That's the spirit of a true leader. Zhao Wuji gave a thumbs up. Having traveled all over the continent, he knew how much a free inn meant in the wilderness. Enough with the flattery, Tang Lan said casually. "Let's go." Yes. After traveling some distance, they could make out the vast Star Dough Forest with the naked eye, but as the saying goes, the mountain looks closer than it is, and the actual distance was still over 30 kilometers. On the way, Oscar hesitated several times before finally walking over to Tang San. He whispered, "Master, I noticed that my sausages only stay fresh for 12 hours out in the open air, but there's no air inside the storage ring. The sausage I put in there 2 days ago is still fresh. So, theoretically, sausages in the storage ring can be stored forever." Tang San's eyes lit up. Having tasted Oscar's sausages, he knew how good they were. He didn't realize they'd keep like that in a storage ring. "Well done," Tang San praised. "When we get back, I'll teach you a new self-created soul skill." Oscar grinned. Good thing he could read the room. He didn't cut out his master or anything, and when there was good news, he didn't try to jump the chain of command. Now the benefits were coming his way. "Give me a couple sausages," Tang San ordered. And keep it down. Oscar nodded. He whispered, I have a big sausage, I have a little sausage. He handed 2 sausages to Tang San. Tang San put them in the storage ring and walked toward Tang Lan. He took the 2 sausages out again. Brother, after doing some research, I found that Xiao Ao's sausages can be stored longer in a storage ring away from the air. It's been 3 days and they haven't gone bad yet. Since everyone has a storage soul guide, you can always keep a few on hand just in case. Tang Lan. He had a habit of keeping his blue-silver domain active. It wasn't very big, only about 10 meters across, but everyone traveled close together, so they were all in the blue-silver field, so, how could Tang San say that with a straight face? Did he really discover that through research? He was almost like Xiaogang. Look at Oscar, he looks so awkward. But his master was stealing his credit and promising benefits. He could only try to keep his expression neutral and not give anything away, but how did he feel about Tang San? Tang Lan just smiled. Xiao San is good at research. Xiao Ao, can you make some sausages for everyone? Sure thing, master, Oscar replied quickly. He immediately started chanting and producing sausages to distract himself. They traveled all the way to the Star Do forest. He had made more than 20 sausages for each person, which was pretty exhausting. Tang San hesitated for a moment, but didn't use his Shantian Kung internal power to replenish Oscar's depleted energy. The dense purple energy and the internal power of Shantian Kung could be converted with high efficiency, but the Star Do forest was full of dangers, and you could lose your life any minute if you weren't in top condition. Oscar just panted and didn't say much, but he felt a bit of a chill. Tang San gets the credit, and he gets all the work, and now,